Here we go. The UFC back in Southern California for the first time in more than 2 years for the first pay-per-view of 2022, and it's a monster. A heavyweight title unification bout, flyweight trilogy fight for the title. 22 fighters set to weigh in just a matter of moments, and we will be there every step of the way. Welcome inside the Anaheim Convention Center, everybody. It is their first weigh-in show of the new year. Laura Sanko, Dan Hellie, Dean Thomas, and the man, the myth, the legend, Daniel Cormier. This is your heavyweight title fight. I mean, this is the one we've been waiting for almost a year, DC.
It's the big one, right? When the heavyweights are ready to go, it's the big one. And I cannot wait until tomorrow night whenever Francis Ngannou and Ciryl Gane get locked in. But guys, let's just, Dan Hellie, in Anaheim, I like the slow leg raise. Let me try to do that. I don't want to sit like you. I mean, do I look more cultured?
Yeah, you look more
cultured because this dude come from NFL and
Dan looks more flexible though. He's got more flexibility.
Dan's like slow. Yeah. I had to actually reach down and grab
your big thigh got in the way. You like,
the big thigh got in the way.
Yeah, dude. I'll tell you who got big thighs. That's them boys that's going to be fighting tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, Ciryl Gane and Ngannou. And how could you not love this fight? You got contrasting styles. You got two heavyweights that just could put your lights out at any moment. This is going to be a great fight.
But the co-main event, I mean, guys, a trilogy, a fight that defined the flyweight division, reignited the flyweight division. Brandon Moreno taking on Figueiredo. Kind of the tale of two fights with those guys. I can't wait to see how that third one plays out.
You guys know what this is?
Yeah, Wheel of Misfortune.
It is the Wheel of Misfortune.
We've seen it.
R.J. Clifford, you hear him on SiriusXM. He is the man who kind of keeps everything straight on this show. He's the guy who comes up with these categories, at least one of the people that comes up with these categories. RJ, will you just give us a little demonstration of the Wheel of Misfortune here and how it works?
Certainly, no problem. So I didn't come up with all of them, some of them, the kind of crazier ones I will blame producer Ricci for, but you know the game, right?
You're going to blame Ricci already?
Yeah, right away. If you got any questions on which ones are which, I'll be happy to fill you in. So this one, 20 anytime push-ups.
I had Hellie do that before.
I remember that. I remember that. He was struggling.
So you get your morning workout in while you're going.
Can you go to the front? Can you go to the front of the stage here and start?
Yeah. So when you guys inevitably have to do this, please face this way. How many am I doing?
20. The good thing is like you'll feel really swole for the rest of the show.
Hellie has like very weak upper body strength.
I don't think I'm gonna be able to do that facing the camera.
We were watching you. Like, you got some big legs. Maybe doing squats with a big baby.
You know what?
Because you were struggling with the push-up.
I know he was.
You joke around a lot. But when you talk about my upper body,
my goodness, you can't do that.
Let me just get off stage, guys.
That was strong. That was strong. Okay, guys, we do have some changes to the card. I keep having to chop the numbers down. We had 26 fighters and 24 fighters and 22 fighters. Adolfo Vieira and Wellington Turman has been canceled. And then we find out this morning that Ilia Topuria is out because of a medical issue. This is a rising star. I know we were looking forward to seeing. He was taking on Charles Jourdain, so that bout has been canceled as well.
That's disappointing.
Yeah, it is disappointing, but we're going to see Ilia at some point, so hopefully he'll be just fine as we take a look at the preliminary card. So now there's going to be 6 fights on the prelims overall, kicking things off with 22-year-old Californian Kay Hansen against Season 5 Dana White Contender Series alum Jasmine Jasdavicius. And keep in mind, we have 4, 5 Season 5 alums on this card. So many good fights as we move on to the main card. Michael Morales, another Season 5 alum, putting his 12-0 record on the line against Houston police officer Trevin Giles, and it's Stamen and Saeed Nurmagomedov, Michel Pereira, and Andre Fialho, Brandon Moreno, Figueiredo, and Ngannou and Gane. I mean, this is an unbelievable lineup that we have here. Let's bring in our MC of the weigh-in today, John Anik. And John, the main event is so interesting because there's so many layers to these two guys. Yes, they were training partners. Francis Ngannou wants to say they didn't train together that much, maybe 10 times in total. Obviously, Ciryl Gane's current coach is Francis's former coach. What kind of information were you able to glean about their relationship in this lead up to the fight?
Well, there's no denying there is an emotional backdrop to this fight for both of these guys that has not existed prior. Some interesting insight for you. After the press conference yesterday, I had about 5 minutes with Fernand Lopez and Ciryl Gane. And it seemed as though Fernand was sort of frustrated with how that went. He wanted Ciryl to maybe engage a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive. And Ciryl seemed kind of deflated. And I said to him, man, it's like, it's hard to sustain a fake act. Like, you got to be you. And he said, you know, my father told me to never interrupt another man. And I said, you know, me, Joe Rogan, and Daniel Cormier spend 8 hours trying to not interrupt each other. So I respect that. So I do think Ciryl is a little bit affected by the festivities yesterday. I think once they shut that octagon door, both guys are going to perform exceedingly well. But they're not friends. They were former teammates, despite what Francis wants to say.
It is so interesting that you say that about Gane because he seems so unaffected when he's in the octagon, a very even-keeled guy. All right, let's take a look at the co-main with Moreno and Figueiredo. Listen, this is a trilogy. It was a draw the first time around. Moreno basically dominated the second time around, but it's very different the lead up to each and every fight. A short notice fight the first time, and now in this trilogy fight, you have Figueiredo who has completely changed camps. He's moved to Arizona. It's a very different fight this third time around, isn't it?
There's no doubt about it, and I still believe the jury's out as far as Deiveson Figueiredo. I know he got ahead of the weight cut. I know he set all these records in Arizona as far as his strength and conditioning is concerned, but he's still got to get through the fight before the fight. And I do believe his long-term future is probably going to be at bantamweight. I don't see him being able to consistently make this weight. Of course, on the other side, the confidence from Brandon Moreno has got to be the biggest takeaway. You know, he's focused largely on physical strength and conditioning because he's pretty happy with where his skill set is at. And on the other side, Figueiredo said he spent about 3 months focused almost solely on distance and range management, trying to figure out a way to get inside and employ his weapons. But I'm just not convinced, you know, that Figueiredo's body can optimally perform in this weight class. That's the honest truth for me.
And Brandon Moreno going to be the first to weigh in when we kick off weigh-ins here in just a couple of minutes. Hawinu Barcelos, Said Nurmagomedov. We have 5 guys from season 5 of Dana White's Contender Series. So many rising prospects on this card. A fight or a fighter, John, that you are very much looking forward to, and we need to keep an eye out.
All right, so Renato Valdez, excuse me, is going to be competing very early on. He's an undefeated Mexican fighter from Brandon Moreno's gym, taking on Matt the Steamroller Frivola, who's got some pressure on him, a couple straight setbacks. I expect that to be an absolute war. And then also Michael Morales, right, 22 years old, comes from a combat sports family, making his UFC debut on pay-per-view against Trevin Giles, who's trying out a new weight class for size. So those are the 2 weight classes, or the 2 fights, I guess, and a couple of Entrim gym guys that I have my eyes on here Saturday night.
All right, John Anik getting ready to MC. Going to be a busy day for you. John, thank you very much as we await weigh-in starting here in less than 2 minutes. Brandon Moreno, as I said, going to be the first to weigh in. But let's focus on the main event. Let's focus on the big guys. First title defense for Francis Ngannou against his former training partner. And this is fascinating to me. It's power versus speed. And you look at Gane, he's absolutely dominated since he's entered the UFC.
I mean, the guy's 10-0. It's not like Ciryl Gane has been doing this for a long time. But I think the one thing that we have learned with the guys coming out of Paris, Francis did it, Gane's done it, they move quickly. Because Francis wasn't long in his UFC career when he first fought for the UFC championship. So you see these big, athletic, strong, gifted guys, and they just run through everybody. I mean, Alistair Overeem.
He flipped his head backwards.
They still ain't found his head.
Moreno and Figueiredo, this is the third meeting between these two in just over a year. And as we talked about with John, very different each and every fight the lead up.
Yeah, and listen, the fact that these guys are fighting 3 times in a row, and it's the first time in UFC history that it has been back to back to back, speaks to the importance of this particular matchup and what it means to the division. And when you've got the way the fight went the first time with Figueiredo, even though it was a draw, Figueiredo won that fight. And then you've got Brandon Moreno, who came back with a vengeance and had the performance of a lifetime. It just leaves this fantastic question that we get answers on Saturday. What's it going to look like the third time?
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Figueiredo can close that gap, because he seems to have let Moreno kind of close in on him. Can he figure out that puzzle that Moreno has that allowed him to beat him the last time?
There's, again, so many layers to this one as well. Henry Cejudo used to coach and train with Brandon Moreno, and now he's with Davison Figueiredo. So, I mean, again, there's this bad blood, right, that involves the coach.
You love it. I mean, you
It's
just
great. You want storylines.
We all understand how messy I am. But you messy too now. I love that I'm rubbing off on y'all. Y'all just starting stuff. I love that.
No, it's phenomenal in these storylines, and when you dig a couple of layers deeper, some believe that Cejudo wants to eventually fight Moreno down the line as Brandon Moreno. The first two step to the scale during our official weigh-ins, first pay-per-view of 2022. Let's listen in.
Hey guys, this is Brandon Moreno fighting at Tijuana, Baja California, Mexico, and you need to repeat after me. Y aún. What it means, and still.
£124, the official weight for the champion, Brandon Moreno.
Go ahead and repeat that, Laura.
Y aún.
Y
aún.
And still, Brandon
That's right.
Moreno.
Happiest looking guy that you will ever see hit the scale a pound
Looks good.
under.
He honestly looks good. He doesn't look all drawn out.
No.
When
All
we
right,
see
next fighter
Figueiredo
to
step
the
he's gonna
scale
look
is
very
his
drawn
opponent,
out.
the former
Oh, wow,
UFC
Figueiredo's drawn out.
flyweight champion, Deus de Guerra, Davison Figueiredo.
This is big for Figgy because normally Figgy's towards the end because he's struggling with the weight cut.
We waited last time a long time for Figueiredo to come out.
Oh, he's
Look at him. He's
running.
jogging
Oh,
to
my
the.
goodness.
Oh, look at this.
You know, the guys out in Arizona at Neuroforce One, they are training some elite level talent. Wrestlers, fighters. They say that he broke every record and lost more weight in the time that he's been there than they've ever had over the course of one training camp. He had a beautiful gold grill the other day, too. Oh, he's on weight.
£124, the official weight for Davison Figueiredo.
Figgy,
UFC flyweight title fight.
Can't you see? I mean, Figgy, can't you see? Figgy underweight. Wow. I mean, we know what this guy is as a fighter. He's so talented. He's a bruiser. He wants to walk you down. He wants to stalk you. But now that he's got the weight under control, first on the scale or second,
he looks
pretty
good. High
good.
energy.
It's very surprising, if I'm being honest.
Yep.
He looked happy too.
Looked happy. He jogged up to the scale. Crazy.
What's up? This is Matt Frivola. I'm from Long Island, New York. Hey, DC, in one of my fights, you said I needed to work on turning the corner on my takedowns. Well, guess what? I've been turning the corner and finishing all my takedowns. Let's go, baby.
You know, I love that. That's old Coach DC. You know, Coach DC, sit there, get to the corner on the shots, and Matt Frivola is a grinder. And Matt Frivola is a guy that is going to challenge his opponent more than he's ever seen. Now, Genaro Valdez is very exciting, but he's never fought anyone like this. This guy's going to be in his face right away, pressuring him, trying to take him down, and he's so relentless that he causes a lot of people issues. He also
154.5, the official weight for Matt Frivola.
Being in this situation where these young guys with hype come in, everybody's looking forward to them showing out, and Matt Frivola is just at the door going, nope, you will not pass. He's a bad boy.
And he's ready after the way that his last fight ended in the first round and married, honeymoon, did that after the fight and back training right away.
He's the man.
All right, here is Houston police officer Trevin Giles.
You know, Trevin Giles, when I watch him fight, I see a guy that's like supremely talented, a guy that has a lot of ability. He's long. He has tremendous boxing. He's down a weight, right, at 170. Before, he's always up at 185. He always looked a little bit small. And you remember when him and Krause fought? Krause was like, on a day notice. Krause goes, I'll fight Trevin Giles. Who does that? But Trevin Giles now at 170 is
170 pounds, the official weight for Trevin Giles.
Trevin Giles will now be able to use that size with all the skill that he possesses, and I truly believe he can be good at welterweight. We trained together a while back, and I was like, wow, this kid's gifted. But I think the size was too much. The ability
next
to
fighter
take
to
him
the
down,
scale, competing
hold
live on pay-per-view in the
middleweight.
bantamweight
Now this is good for him.
The hand speed will translate, though. He's got fast
he's
hands.
fast.
3 different weight classes for Trevor.
Cody Stamen, fighting out of Sparta, Michigan. DC, you gave me some really solid advice at a time that I really needed it, and I'll be forever grateful.
I mean,
What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you?
Therapist DC.
Give me some advice. I need some advice, man.
Coach DC, therapist DC.
50 bucks a session.
I mean, come on, man. I'm charging 170. But Cody Stamen, extremely talented. Unbelievable
135 and a
wrestler,
half. The
and a
official
guy
weight
that's
for Cody
completely
Stamen.
game. Cody Stamen gets the opportunity tomorrow night to go out and try to, again, impose himself on another opponent. Young guy, hasn't seen anyone like Stamen, but this guy is relentless when he is trying to take people down.
All right, next fighter
and honestly,
to the scale,
I love
the
it.
UFC's
I love
ultimate
watching
showman,
him
competing
compete.
live on pay-per-view in the welterweight division.
Yeah, I always felt like he got a bad rap at times. Like, he's a good competitor, but just sometimes doesn't really
he doesn't
translate over all the time in performances.
The guy just gave me such a great compliment, Dean. Now you want me to kind of talk bad
No,
about
I'm
it.
not talking bad. But I tell you what, this is my guy right here. This is my favorite guy to watch in the UFC. He did a backflip into mount against
I
Nico
remember that.
Price. This guy, but he's so fun to watch. He's so athletic. He's so crazy and wild. Let's see what he weighs. £170, the official weight for Michel Pereira. And he made that like a champ because this guy is so big by the time he gets in. He's got to be at least 200 pounds by the time he fights. But you can't let his wildness distract you from how good he really is because he's good and he's a top prospect.
And he's getting better too, Dean. I mean, he's really kind of
learning how to
harness in that little bit of crazy he brings out. And here we have Silvana Gomez Juarez. I am so excited to see her fight. I love her journey to the octagon. She's 36 years old, but she's been fighting since 2010, and she hasn't been able to compete that much. But the fact that she's been in this game, 115 and a half.
115 and a half.
The fact that she's been in this game for nearly 12 years, I mean, tells you what kind of skill set she has. She trains with Brandon Moreno down at Entram Gym, a fantastic gym. A lot of good fighters on this card, so I'm excited to see what she brings out there.
She got a good jab, too.
She's got a great jab.
She got a great jab.
Yep, she's powerful.
Pete Rodriguez, I actually called his very first fight down in Mexico. It was at Icon Fights down in Mexico, and I was I was the color commentary for that. And he punched this dude's head into mashed potatoes. This guy's got some serious power.
That's a description.
He's only 4-0, and he's only spent 4 minutes and 37 seconds in the cage fighting. But there's a reason for that.
170 and a half, the official weight for dead game Pete Rodriguez.
And that reason is that he's got that power and he's knocking people out early. So don't blink when this guy fights.
And he's got a real opportunity ahead of him here, too, coming in super short notice, upset the apple cart potentially.
Genaro Valdez, another Season 5 Contender Series alum coming up, Dean? Or DC, sorry.
You know, when you talk about Genaro Valdez, we sat with him yesterday. The kid's confident. He comes from Entram Gym, right? They're doing really well, and they're all undefeated. So I'm like, how are you guys all undefeated? Like, you know, this gym that is really starting to make its mark. He goes, it's the Brandon effect. He goes, everybody wants to compete and train as Brandon Moreno does. He said, so this training camp.
155 and a half, the official weight for Genaro Valdez.
This training camp, he has been most successful in trying to do exactly what Brandon did. He feels like he has kept the workload up like he's wanted to over the course of time, but he was most effective in this training camp, and he thinks you'll see that in his performance.
Talk about the fighters from Entram Gym. Here's another one, and Michael Morales, undefeated at 12-0.
Yeah, another undefeated fighter from Entram Gym, and we saw him on Season 5 of Contender Series this last fall. And man, did he impress in that fight. He took on another fantastic striker in that matchup and just really was a step ahead of him the entire fight. Both of his parents.
170, the official weight for Michael Morales.
170, but both of his parents are actually judokas. His mom still competes and teaches, but he's moved away from Ecuador, moved to Mexico, and has gone all in training there at Interim Gym with that fantastic team.
Morales and Trevin Giles kicking off the main card. Man, what a card this is.
Hi, my name is Victor Henry, fighting out of Southgate, California. My favorite ride over at Disneyland has always been the Tower of Terror.
Yeah, how could you not be happy for this kid? He's making his UFC debut at 34 years old, but he's earned it.
Yeah.
He's fought all over the world. He's fought in 15 different organizations.
135.5 for Victor Henry.
He's got a record of 21-5, trains with the former heavyweight champion of the world and Josh Barnett. This guy has earned his right to be here, and I'm excited to see him fight.
Yeah, still works as a bartender and bouncer and used to work at an amusement park, Knott's Berry Farm, just down the road from where we are right now.
He needs a shampoo sponsor.
Hey guys, Kay Hansen here, fighting tomorrow at UFC 270, right down the street out of Fullerton, California. Hey Laura, I would love to hear your take on how you think I've progressed since interviewing me back in my Invicta days at 18 years old.
Man, she's right. I have been watching Kay Hansen for so long, and it's crazy to think that she's still only 22 at this point, but just a fantastic prospect, moving up to flyweight for the first time. And let me see her weight here.
Official weight for Kay Hansen.
I missed the number there, but I believe she's on weight. And the cool thing about this fight for Kay Hansen, she's really used this fight.
On now to the
it was 125
division.
even. She's really used this fight as a platform to talk about mental health and eating disorders. So go look up what she had to say about that.
And here is a look at the numbers. He is the UFC flyweight champion of the world, the first Mexican-born champion in UFC history, and he is joining us right now. He is one of the happiest guys around, even on weigh-in day. He is Brandon Moreno. Brandon, this is a different fight for you. It's a trilogy fight. It seems like it's the same old story, but everything has been so different this time around. Does it feel different for you going into this third fight with Figueiredo?
Man, so sorry. I just feeling like my soul is coming again to my body. But yes, man. So this fight is different. I know it's the same opponent than the last two fights, but they live like the life like a champion is different. The pressure, the obligations, but at the same time, the nice things of my life now are better. So I just to get this new challenge like something really important. I had a really hard training camp in Tijuana with my partners in Interim Gym. So I just wanna do what I love in this life, and I'm ready to do it.
How fun is it for you to have all of your training partners with you here from Interim Gym? It must be such a cool thing to all be on the same card.
Man, it's actually so funny because all 5 weeks was very, very funny for all the team. Well, we was in the lobby of in the hotel and all that stuff. So I was very motivated all the 5 weeks and do something for this sport, for Mexico, for Latin America. So now we have a new generation of Latin American fighters, and I'm happy to share the octagon with them.
Brandon, at the presser yesterday, Figueiredo had a lot to say, and you were reacting quite a bit, kind of, face palming yourself there. What did you make of his attitude at the presser yesterday?
Laura, I mean, I don't understand why then they feel like my mind is weak. I mean, I don't know if they saw something in the past, but I really believe, and the people can see my mindset is the most strongest in all the company actually. So I don't know. I mean, they're trying to talk bad against me, but even right now when I don't have too much liquid in my body, it's like I don't care.
Your last performance against Figueiredo was one of the best performances we've ever seen from you, or honestly, any flyweight in the entire division. Is there pressure? Is it difficult to train thinking, man, I have to outdo that performance, or is it just a matter of doing it again?
No, I mean, like I said before, obviously with the bell in my shoulder, everything is different. And this training camp feels like, yeah, the vibes of the camp was different. But at the end of the day, the training camp was amazing to me. Like, I don't have any serious injury in my body or something like that. All the team was very motivated the last 5 weeks in Tijuana. And, you know, I'm just want to go and do my job. I'm expecting a better Figueiredo than the last one. But you never know. I mean, can be a very similar than the first one, or I'm ready to do an amazing performance like last June.
Brandon, you are such a likable, relatable character. Probably, with the exception of DC, the most likable champion we've ever had. I was talking to the security guy out front, and he was like, I love Brandon Moreno. Now, how does that make you feel to be so beloved by all of your fans?
Man, I love all this UFC stuff. They are incredible people. It's funny because 5 weeks, you know, with all the staff, with the bodyguards, I'm just trying to make jokes with them, just to try to just trying to make all the vibes more comfortable. So, man, I don't know. I mean, I think it's about my education. The people around me made a really good personality in myself. And, I mean, I enjoy so much when the people is fine with me. Obviously, definitely, I have some haters there. I don't know where, but they are there. But, I mean, I'm just so happy all day sometimes.
Yeah, and one of the things that stands out is that you was able to call your shot. You said, I'm going to be champion one day. At what point did you know that you was going to be champion? Like, how did that register for you?
When I'm start like a professional, I'm start like a professional 2011. You know, before, you know, my amateur career, for example, everything was, you know, like, oh, I wanna be the best, and I just want to compete. But when I start my professional career, I decide like, hey, I go for everything. And actually, after the first development program of UFC in Latin America, you know, all my training partners went to the Ultimate Fighter Latin America first season. I go back to my house because my age don't was the necessary for the show. But in that moment was like, that's it. I want to be champion. I don't know when. I mean, I think that's why that interview is so viral, because it's the truth, right? I mean, the people can get very easy inspiration with that video, because to me was like, I mean, I want to do that. Like, I don't know how many times I need to do it, but I want to do it.
Brandon, yesterday we talked about Mexican champions fighting in Southern California. You were very excited about the press conference and the reaction you would get. Was it what you expected, or was it a little bit better than you thought it would be?
No, man, that was exactly what I expected that day. You know, all the people there was Mexican, and my training partners was like 10 guys. A lot of people coming from Tijuana because it's very, very close. And then I mean, yesterday was amazing, but definitely Saturday night will be better. I really feel that.
It was really good. I mean, there was music and everything. I mean, it seemed like it was like a quinceañera. It was so much fun yesterday watching you go out there, Brandon. But Brandon, ultimately, people come to watch you fight. You're a fantastic fighter. What have you changed to ensure that you can replicate the performance you had last time or exceed it over a guy in Davison Figueiredo who weighed in right after you? Normally, he struggles with the weight cut. He was second after you, a pound under. Seems motivated, seems ready. How do you keep your title tomorrow night?
Man, I'm trained so hard, and my training was in base like expecting the best Figueiredo ever in the life, right? So he's doing something very good. Like, he changed all his training camp. Looks like he changed his diet. He looks in better shape. So, man, I'm expected the best guy in the octagon. I don't want to hear more excuses after this. Last fight was so dominant, so I don't change too much the technical part. I was just very, very sharp in every single area of the fight. I put a lot of focus in my strength and conditioning. So, man, the only difference in this fight is my heart, man. My Mexican heart. I believe in my heart right now.
Brandon Moreno, there it is. This is what Brandon always likes to do. The Mexican heart. The most likable champion in UFC history. Brandon, thank you, my friend. I said that. He is the most likable.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Man, hold on. We have to really, come on now.
He for sure is.
Dean literally.
Yeah, we have to, come on.
You know what? Likable and lovable.
Not a cheater.
And not a cheater. Let me ask you about this matchup, though.
Which makes him very likable.
Because obviously we've seen trilogies before, guys.
Yes.
But when you take into account what happened in the first couple of fights, right? It was 21 days notice. It was a foul that led to the draw. Then it was Moreno coming out, Figueiredo being a little more patient that second time around. And now he totally kind of starts from scratch in a new camp going into the third fight. How much do you have to take into account how the first two fights went down when you break down this fight?
I think if you're Davis and Figueiredo, you're like, man, no illegal strike, and this guy's in my rearview mirror. I go forward as the champion. But now I have put him back as my contemporary. And the way Brandon Moreno fought last time, the way he landed the jab over and over and over, you could see his confidence building. You saw it in fight one. You saw him start to build and realize, oh my goodness, I can go with this guy. And he ultimately went and fought him to a draw. But in the second fight, it was like an avalanche started to build. And it kept building and building and building. And Figueiredo never got into that fight at all. Moreno dominated him.
Yeah, you know what? I think this is an issue where Figueiredo doesn't know how to fight Moreno. I think Figueiredo, so in the first fight, he came out, he was aggressive, and he got tired being aggressive. So then in the second fight, he laid back and said, all right, I'm not going to be so aggressive. And then Moreno put that jab on him and stunned him, and then he didn't know what to do. He shook him with that. So I think it's a matter of, for Figueiredo, just not knowing how exactly he wants to fight Moreno.
And I think the key here is he's making that adjustment, right? He's gone to Fight Ready. He's gone to a camp where they are known for their game planning, their ability to inject that fight IQ. And when you watch the countdown, you know what I see? He's drilling. He's drilling over and over. Very simple things with Henry Cejudo. Feinting, getting into the pocket, drawing out the aggression of Brandon Moreno, because the aggression of Brandon Moreno is what won him the fight the second time. So honestly, I think this fight camp could be a very bad. We see it already in the way that he weighed in. It's a different guy.
I also think that Davis and Figueiredo is who he is. He's got a pressure. He can't sit back and try to out-technique Brandon Moreno. And that's why, to Dean's point, he's confused. He doesn't know what's the path. And if he's confused in there again, he'll be a step behind trying to think his way through a fight. So Cejudo, Albersin, and all those guys have had to work on that to really try to reel in who he is. You can't reinvent the wheel. You can't make this guy a new fighter. This guy is who he is. He's a brute. You got to just really teach him how to fight smart while doing that.
The saying goes, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, but he moves everything to Arizona. He trains with Henry Cejudo, who, by the way, used to be a training partner and coach for Brandon Moreno, a kind of mentor for him. So he knows Moreno very well. How much does this help Figueiredo working with Henry Cejudo in terms of preparation for Moreno?
I've spent some time around Henry Cejudo. We did a comedy show together. And the fact, the way his mind works, this guy is an absolute winner. He knows how to win.
Yes.
And that's just the way he works. I think that's the most important thing that Figueiredo can get from him is just being around that mindset, being in that room, in that environment, around a winner who thinks like that. And I think that he's going to gather a lot of just confidence being in that environment.
It's the organization of your game, right? We know that Deiveson Figueiredo has all of the tools that he needs to be successful. We know that for a fact. But going to a fight or a camp like Fight Ready and a coach like Henry Cejudo and Eric Albarracin, Eddie Cha, all the guys down there, they're going to help him organize this scattering of tools that he has. And if he can get those tools organized in the right order and understand how they connect in the context of the fight, man, I think we might see even the best Deiveson Figueiredo that we've ever seen on Saturday.
Absolutely. And honestly, Henry's a winner. Henry Cejudo knows how to get the job done. And if he can give any of that to Deiveson Figueiredo. If he can teach Deiveson Figueiredo to be within him, I mean, guys, let's not act like Deiveson Figueiredo is not a guy that wasn't a UFC champion. He knows how to win himself.
Yeah, he might be the most talented guy in the division.
He's so athletic, he's so gifted, he hits so hard.
Scary.
But to get everything together, to piece all those pieces of the puzzle in the right place, will allow for him to not only win this fight, but go on to reign the division for a long time. Henry does that well. And Albertson's a different guy. Let me tell you something. You're down there with Albertson and Cejudo. You got a couple weird dudes running around with. A couple short, weird dudes.
Captain America.
Captain got a whole bunch of the big glasses.
Yeah.
Henry's weird, but these dudes know how to win, man. And for Henry Cejudo, I want to say this also. Hey, Deiveson Figueiredo, the Brazilian. I live in Gilroy, California. Big Mexican community. They wrote Henry Cejudo off at this point. They can't believe that.
I heard this.
It's so crazy because, like you said, Brandon Moreno's lovable.
Yeah.
He's a lovable guy, a Mexican guy, lovable Mexican guy. Mexican people support each other anyways. But to go against a Brandon Moreno, dude, they pretty much wrote Henry off as the first Mexican Olympic wrestling champion.
How much does it play into this fight, kind of the bad blood between Cejudo and Moreno? You heard Figueiredo say, Moreno's a traitor. He left the camp. I'm going to bring his head back on a platter. I mean, is that just showmanship, or do you feel like there's actually any extra motivation?
I think it's largely showmanship, to be honest with you. I mean, this just keeps getting messier and messier. It reminds me of who's that comedian that smashes the watermelons? Gallagher.
Oh, yeah, Gallagher.
It's like a freaking Gallagher show. Everybody needs to get their poncho on. Henry's out there trying to stir up some stuff. For Figueiredo, I don't know that there's any actual bad blood between those two.
How about the fact John Jones is training there now, too, and Figueiredo and Henry Cejudo.
Let's just do the weigh-in.
Talk about some high-level stuff.
Right here you see Tony Gravely. You know, I mean, guys, you guys keep giving me the wrestlers, and it sounds like I'm saying the same thing about each and every one of them. Gravely is known as a grappler, but he does have tremendous power. Here's the issue with Gravely.
135.5, the official weight for Tony Gravely.
So Tony Gravely, extremely talented, but he's a guy that does leave a ton of openings whenever he's trying to not only enter for takedowns, but land his shots. Because he has so much belief in his power that if he gets to you, he leaves himself open, and that at times has cost him over the course of his career.
And here's another Season 5 Contender Series alum, Simon Oliveira.
Yeah, 18-3 record, 16 finishes. This guy knows how to finish fights. Now, he got this gig from winning a split decision on Contender Series, which is almost unheard of.
136, the official weight for Simon Oliveira.
136, but Dana saw something in his fighting style that just impressed him, his heart, his tenacity, his toughness, and those are the things that would get you into this next level.
You know, this is my boy Andre Fiallo. You know, he trained with us for a while at AK, but he really has made gains since going down to Sanford MMA. He's a different fighter. I mean, I've watched Andre train and compete. This dude used to give me in cane rounds. That's how tough he is. Right in the heart of our title reigns. We would do sparring rounds with Andre Fiallo.
169.5.
That's how tough he is.
The official weight for Andre Fiallo.
Any bigger than 185, 190 pounds. He's as game as they come. He is a savage, and this dude loves to fight, and he is going to bring the fight to Pereira. It's going to be fun. That's one that even though everybody may not know the name, these two dudes are going to blow the roof off the Honda Center.
Fought in PFL and Bellator, one of the top welterweights on the regional scene. That's going to be a good fight. Jasmine Jasudavicius.
Yeah, Jasmine Jasudavicius has only been pro since 2019, but she made a big impact on the Contender Series last season. And she told me in her post-fight interview, she's like, listen, I'm not here for a quick time. I'm here for a good time. I need to get in and get this work done. So she's going to work early, and she's got a really, really fun striking style. She had a tough
125 pounds, the official weight for Jasmine Jasudavicius.
Right on the dot. She had a really tough fight on the Contender Series, if you remember, Dan. I mean, Julia Palaistri was putting it to her, but she met that adversity, went through that hard time, got the big win, and Dana had to have her.
And up next is the Brazilian Raoni Barcelos, the biggest favorite on the card.
Yeah, Raoni Barcelos, I mean, he burst onto the UFC scene back in 2018, rattled off 3 straight finishes. I mean, he is an absolute hammer on the feet. He's got 8 knockouts. He's got that black belt to back it up. I feel like, honestly, he's one of the most underrated fighters in that division.
Looks like you got a new tattoo, too.
Yeah.
These guys that get tattoos on their chest like that, I mean, that hurts.
Official weight 135 pounds for Raoni
I barely
Barcelos.
can get a tattoo on my arm. I got a big old arm, too. I ain't supposed to hurt that bad, D.
He was on a 5-fight rip in the UFC.
Yeah.
Stumbled his last time out, but I'm telling you, this guy has all the skills in the world.
He's
to be
big,
able
too, for that weight
he
class.
Is.
Hey guys, Jack Della Maddalena here from Perth, Western Australia. Fighting tomorrow night. I heard you guys like to do a couple of challenges. Why don't we have ourselves a juggling competition? Who's in? You in?
Am I in? Am I in? I don't know if I can juggle.
170 and a half, the official weight for Jack Della Maddalena.
I think so. I missed a little part of it, but it sounded like he challenged me to. I mean, listen, I'm down for anything. I'll do anything. I'll juggle.
You know how to juggle, Laura?
No, I don't know how to juggle, but I can try.
You'll try it.
I'll try anything. Once.
I don't think it'll. If you haven't juggled before, it seems very, very difficult.
It's actually kind of easy.
What?
Oh, really?
Is this a setup?
Are we gonna do this?
Is this a
I'm
setup?
just being honest. Like, juggling is pretty easy. I'm
Wait,
not
there's
gonna sit here.
some cups right there.
I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like juggling's hard.
We'll put it on the wheel now.
All right,
We'll
and
see
then
what
I'll
a good
juggle
juggler
and
is.
embarrass every one of you. I'm such a great juggler.
Why won't I be embarrassed if DC can juggle and I can't?
Well, I'm going to
4.
practice every day between.
Hey,
I know you will.
4 bowling pins. 4 bowling pins.
Really?
I can juggle.
What?
4 bowling
Okay.
pins. This is my hidden
He
talent.
lying.
I
He
do
got.
not believe
He be
it.
doing
You're
chicken wings.
lying. You
Chicken
are
wing, chicken wing. I just said chicken wings. I can do chicken wings.
That I believe.
Well,
that I believe for sure.
You two have to juggle the Dana White Contender Series and regular shows during the summer primarily, moved into the fall this year. But we have 5 guys on this card from season 5 of Dana White's Contender Series. All of them obviously great prospects. Is there one or two that really stands out the most to you?
Man, it's like having to choose between my kids. I feel partial to anybody that participates in that show, but for me, it is Jack Della Maddalena. I mean, he had such an impressive performance, and really, what we saw was a UFC-ready skill set from him. He was taking on another excellent competitor. Sometimes the matchups there, they're last minute. They're not always facing the greatest guys. He was facing a former main training partner of Kamaru Usman, and he went out and he showed a very well-rounded skill set. Fantastic feet, excellent boxing. He cuts angles well in the pocket, and he's got really good power, particularly with that left hand. Watch when he switches to southpaw. It's nasty. But I mean, they're all good. They're all good.
Well, you just gave a pretty good riff on the person you were just talking about. So, I mean, that's the best one I would imagine.
Here is Vanessa Demopoulos, the little monster dude.
Hey, that's about a little monster. She is such a ball of energy. I love watching her fight. I mean, she's just wild. There's no limits to what she will do in a fight. She did a cartwheel against Corey McKenna on the Contender Series for no reason. She just did a cartwheel in the middle of the fight.
She's still full on sweating. I mean, she's still full on sweating. She must have just got done cutting her weight. Look at her breathe, like just breathing heavy, like she's just working out now.
115. She says
Official
she's
weight,
happy to be fighting.
115 and a half pounds for Vanessa Demopoulos.
She says she's happy to be fighting in her right weight class this time and happy to be getting a full camp, so she's excited to show what she's made of.
It's always good when people take the opportunity, but then when they get the chance to go down to where they belong, then you can truly see what they bring to the octagon, right?
And this is the curtain jerker. Little Monster and Silvana Gomez Juarez, the first fight of the entire evening. And what an evening it's going to be here in Anaheim. All right, we have 3 fighters who have yet to weigh in. Said Nurmagomedov, and then, of course, the guys who will be headlining this event, the unification heavyweight title bout, Francis Ngannou, Ciryl Gane. We are still waiting for those 2 heavyweights to weigh in. No worries, it will be happening in just a matter of moments.
I met Fernando Lopez and he said, yes, let's go, you can train.
Really, I think about his potential. Limited experience thus far in mixed martial arts. Every time he steps in there, we know he's getting better.
TKO heavyweight champion.
Works with Fernando Lopez.
Went in my gym because he was looking for sparring.
Ciryl Gane trying to close out the show.
In the MMA Factory, you have a really great sparring partner. in every division.
That is a scary heavyweight.
Wrestler, striker, you have a lot of Russian guy, a lot of African guy too.
I didn't know him before. We never met before. And I noticed that he was pretty good. He has a really good kickboxing, very good footwork for the guy of his side.
Sparring with Francis, the first impression is like, wow, this guy is really strong.
They were sparring, and Ciryl was touching Francis with whatever he wanted to touch him. Knee, elbow, everything.
At this moment, he was in the top 5, so for me, it was good for the confidence.
I said, they will fight each other. I know that will happen.
Ciryl Gane's introduction coincided with Ngannou's consecutive losses and hybrid training camps between France and America, when his fractured partnership with Fernand Lopez was already close to its breaking point.
2 losses, he just went back in France and said, oh, can you help me? How can we do to work together?
How did he get to the top? What was that concoction?
And I said, if you want to make that happen, you listen what I'm saying. You follow the game plan. You follow the conditioning training. And he said, I'm ready to follow all that.
He's gone back, and it's time to rebuild. He returned to those guys right there, Fernand Lopez, to rediscover his roots.
We went in Beijing, China. We won the fight.
Oh! Over the top of the right hand!
That's it! He's back!
And here comes the bad Francis again. Went back in America and started again to do whatever he wanted doing.
And he has a completely different camp. He does a completely different style of training than he did before.
And it's working for him.
Oh, he got hurt. That's it. That's it. Closes the show.
But I said, I don't want to work with you anymore.
He was in Paris, France. He now resides in Las Vegas.
Fernand and I, we had our ups and downs. We always do since day one. We always disagree on stuff.
And now he's moved on, and his whole mindset, his whole demeanor, everything about him has changed.
But he has his dream, I have my own, so I move on.
Oh! Dos Santos in a world of pain! Francis Ngannou! Too much!
With Ngannou gone for good,
Push.
Lopez shifted his focus to the next great heavyweight prospect from Paris.
Well, it only took 3 pro MMA fights to put French heavyweight Ciryl Gane on the UFC radar. Highly thought of as a big-time prospect in this division.
Francis left the MMA factory, but if he stay, what's happening, I don't know exactly.
Really is being spoken in very high regard by those around him, and that's the same team that brought you Francis Ngannou.
Fighting out of Paris, France!
Probably a big situation, yeah.
Do not blink, folks.
Okay, there's a lot of levels to this, right, with these two guys. I don't believe that there's a hatred with Ngannou and Gane, but there is a dislike with Fernand Lopez and Ngannou at this point. You have the walk-by at UFC 268, and now you have Ngannou saying during sparring that he knocked Gane out, and Gane doesn't necessarily agree with that. There's so many different things that are going on here behind the scenes. How does that play into this matchup?
That's why you don't talk about training.
Yeah,
that is literally why you don't talk about training. And when somebody asks about training, you just go, oh, the guy got the best of me. It's that simple. That's how you shut it all down.
Yeah.
But the reality is, how much does training matter? We built a whole bantamweight title fight on Cody Garbrandt knocking out TJ Dillashaw. And then they fought twice, and then it was the exact opposite way. So it's like, you can't put too much stake in that. But I mean, these guys really trying to find the upper hand. You got to remember who we're dealing with. We're dealing with 2 behemoths. These guys are both 6'4", 6'5", about to fight for the heavyweight title of the world. You know, so it's like they're just kind of pulling, pushing, and then we'll see. Ultimately, you get the fight. That's the beauty in this game. You can talk all you want, but on Saturday night, they lock you in an octagon.
It for sure goes against the bro code, though, to put that tape out there. I mean, You don't talk about what happens in training. But here's the thing too, like, you look at that footage and everybody in the general populace sees Ciryl Gane touching Francis Ngannou. That's how Gane fights. Francis Ngannou cannot spar the way that he fights.
No.
He would not have any training partners left. They would be dead.
Well, he told us that. He goes, he has to beg people to spar him. So he's like protecting you. Now that also leads the question, right? Like, when you're having to protect everybody so much, how are you getting everything that you need? I think that's why you saw Rico Verhoeven there. Because it don't matter how hard you hit Rico Verhoeven, he'll come back and he'll spar you again because he's hitting you just as hard. Because if he's having to protect everybody, Rico Verhoeven's one of the greatest kickboxers of all time. Massive. Dude kicks as hard as anybody you've ever been kicked by. I've been kicked by him. And Francis doesn't have to protect him. Francis can punch him. Francis can kick him. But if you're protecting your teammates every single day, how are you getting your work?
You're not going to get no work. But I'm just surprised that Francis came out and was like, yeah, I knocked him out with a head kick.
Or the time, right? Why so late?
Yeah, why so late? But why at all? Like, why bring that up at all? But to me, it just sounded like he was kind of making it up on the spot.
You didn't believe him?
I didn't believe him. I don't believe him. Like, it didn't sound genuine.
It sounds like Ciryl did walk out of practice, though. I mean, who knows? The knockdown, was he out? Was he out? Was he down? Was he not down?
The explanations are all over the place.
It is, and it doesn't.
It's
to your point,
really
though, it
messy.
doesn't really matter. It's very
messy, right? It is messy.
I came away from that presser also wondering, what woman is sparring Francis Ngannou? When he was like, I spar girls, and my mind went, who
would ever spar him?
That's a big girl.
I don't want to spar.
Yeah,
I don't want to spar Francis. But it's like, even yesterday, right? Cyryl's like, I blocked the kick, but we were supposed to be touching, and he kicked me harder than he was supposed to, but I didn't go down. But then Francis came in right after in the meeting and goes, he went down, DC. He was out sleeping.
And he left practice.
And then and he left practice. But then they were at the press conference. Ciryl never really denied that something happened. But he never said, yes. So he said.
He said he was hurt by the head kick and he stepped in, but he wasn't knocked out. That's what he was adamant about.
And and our producers, you can't hear him on air. But when we asked Ciryl about it, he goes, I blocked the kick. And then I was like, yo, what are you doing? So it didn't sound like he went down, right? So what are we doing here? But what are we doing? He said he was rocked. But like, what are we doing here?
Let me ask you this.
Splitting hairs is what we're doing.
It's crazy,
Splitting
right?
hairs.
When I watch Ciryl Gane, I see a guy who is very steady. He is very medium. I don't remember him really getting hurt in a fight. He's just even when he's going the distance, I feel like he's just the same dude from start to finish. All this outside noise, and I flip open my computer last night and I see inside source Daniel Cormier talks about.
Always starting.
So here's the thing. I'm asking you, who's more affected by all this noise? Is it Gane or is it Ngannou?
Well, to me, it's definitely Ngannou. You got to think of it this way: Ngannou is a big, explosive guy. So, like, all that negative energy is going to come out somewhere, and it's going to come out by him being big and explosive, which is going to cause him to get tired. And that's something that Gane is going to just thrive off of. He's going to wait for a guy like Ngannou to get tired because he knows, look, just keep picking at him, keep making him mad. He's going to, almost like Rocky and Clubber Lang, just keep making him mad. He's going to try to kill me. He's going to get tired. Then I'm going to beat him up. So I think that Ngannou has to really be careful about being distracted and let all these things affect him.
You're getting pulled in so many directions as a heavyweight champion. Like, it's just natural. Everybody wants a piece of you. You know, so Tyson Fury called him out. And this is what I was alluding to, Helly, when I said that Francis Ngannou has a lot on his plate. I don't know how that says that, you know, whatever that headline read, but Tyson Fury is calling him out. Fernand Lopez is in his ear every opportunity that he gets. He's got to deal with Ciryl Gane. He's got the contract situation. Guys, the elephant in the room is all this. There's a contract out there that Francis is about to end. If he can win, the world's his oyster. If he loses, now you're really in a bad situation. So all that comes with pressure. But that is also stuff that comes with being the heavyweight champion of the world. Some of it can be avoided, but others can't. So there is pressure, but he'll be okay.
We talk about the footwork of Ciryl Gane, and that's what makes him different. Maybe the last person that was even close in the heavyweight division, Cain Velasquez, in terms of having close to that type of footwork. I mean, close, but nobody's been like that, right?
Nobody could point fight like that.
But and he's also this great striker. Why is the perception, though, that Francis hasn't fought a striker like Ciryl Gane when it was just a couple of years ago we were talking about Stipe being the greatest heavyweight striker of all time?
Because Ciryl Gane strikes in a way that no other heavyweight has struck before. He faced Alistair Overeem, a fantastic kickboxer. He faced Jairzinho Rozenstruik, an excellent kickboxer, ridiculous kickboxing record, and Stipe Miocic, one of the best boxers we've ever seen in the division. But the difference is that Ciryl Gane it's not just that he's a good striker, it is his footwork and it's his distance management. Because when you can manage the distance, you can make people miss. And when you make big guys miss, big guys get tired.
Yes.
And you don't take the damage. So you literally, in one tool set, you are negating the biggest tool that Francis Ngannou has, and you are chipping away at the biggest hole he has, which is his gas tank. All Ciryl Gane has to do is fight like Ciryl Gane fights. And I believe that at least on paper, you've got that X factor, the eraser, but on paper, this is Ciryl Gane's fight to win because of his style alone.
I mean, think about his footwork. Like, to me, it's very reminiscent of Wonder Boy. When Wonder Boy was in his prime, he slid out of the way. Guys could never get their hands on him, from Vincent Luque to Jorge Masvidal. None of them could really get their hands on him. And that's the way Gane fights. Gane fights kind of to the side. He's bouncing in and out. He'll stab you, then move out of the way, stab you, move out of the way, make you miss, make you embarrass you, get you emotional. Yeah, it's going to be tough to get your hands on him.
You know, guys, run that highlight back of Ciryl Gane that just played. There was a highlight that they just ran on Ciryl Gane, and the first thing that we saw in that highlight was why Ciryl Gane is considered different. Head kick Derek Lewis. I mean, for as good as Stipe was, he never threw head kicks. He wasn't throwing high kicks. He wasn't moving in and out the way that Ciryl Gane does. Ciryl Gane broke Derek Lewis down to the point that Derek didn't want to be in there anymore.
He wanted to quit.
He wanted to quit.
He frustrated him, too.
He frustrated him.
Derek couldn't find him.
He broke him down to the point that Derek Lewis just fell down. Derek Lewis has a win over the champ, Francis Ngannou, because his power makes you respect him so much that Francis even respects him. Ciryl Gane broke him down round by round. Kicks, punches, and then at the end of that said highlight that they didn't run again, Ciryl Gane got a submission. That's another thing that separates him from most of the heavyweights.
Derek Lewis, the most powerful fighter that you fought?
Absolutely.
Okay, so how close is his power to Ngannou? Pretty close.
Well, Derek Lewis has more knockouts than anybody in UFC history.
So my point is Ciryl Gane has already faced somebody who's tremendously powerful.
But we're talking about why it's the idea that Francis hasn't seen a Ciryl Gane.
Yes.
Francis has not seen a Ciryl Gane.
Correct, but
because for all those great fighters, none of them fought like that. They didn't kick. Dos Santos was in Dos Santos' prime. He was really good at moving, but he was boxing. Overeem, kickboxer, but his feet are heavy. This guy moves in like no one who's ever seen.
The elusiveness.
Yeah, it's
making people miss.
You guys ready to play a little rapid fire?
Yes, we are.
All right, let's start.
Got to be a little more rapid than some of the answers we've had in the last.
Yeah, well, that's
Laura's fault.
We need to start on the other end sometime.
No, we're starting with you, Cinco.
All right.
All right, you ready?
Ladies first.
Okay, buy or sell. If Francis loses, this will be his last fight in the UFC.
Sell. My heart says sell. I can't imagine having a heavyweight champion leave the UFC on those terms. He's too good.
No, if he loses, that's it for him. He's going to find a new organization.
I'm going to sell. I think that Francis still wants to be fighting at the highest level. I think that'll keep him here. And they'll come to some sort of agreement.
If he loses, he's a free agent, by the way.
I know.
Yes.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
Fact or fiction, if this fight goes to a decision, it's a slam dunk win for Gane.
What was the initial part? Sorry?
Fact or fiction.
That's a fact.
Okay.
Yeah, fact. I'm going with that.
I believe that too. Fact.
Okay. Joe Rogan said that Gane is revolutionizing movement and footwork in the heavyweight division. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, but I don't think most people are going to be able to replicate it. He is a special athlete, and if he lived here, he would be in the NFL.
He's a unicorn.
If he grew up here, I should
Yeah, I mean, he can revolutionize it, but no one can do it.
Yeah.
It is fact, but it's a once in a lifetime, right? From his soccer background to his basketball background, all those things allow for him to be that elite level athlete that we see inside the octagon. Once in a lifetime.
Bigger X factor, Ngannou's chin, Ngannou's gas tank or Gane's chin?
I believe in Ngannou's gas tank. I think that Ciryl Gane is just too elusive, and I think that's going to be a bigger factor.
I think the chin will be a bigger factor. Like at some point he might get hit. So I think we got to see how he holds up.
I was gonna say that too, right? The probability of Francis touching him earlier than him getting tired is a little bit more possible. So I'm gonna say the chin. Chin's got to hold up.
I love this question. Who would you rather see John Jones face, Ngannou or Gane?
Ooh. Ooh.
It's a tough one, isn't it?
Ooh, that's tricky.
Yeah.
Why do you got to go to me first?
Ladies first, Sanko.
I'm gonna say Gane. I'm gonna say Gane. I think that is just a incredibly technical, fun fight, and ooh, I'm getting shivers thinking about it.
I want to see him fight Ngannou because normally when we get two technicians, it turns to be kind of like
because there's such contrasting styles, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Well, I'll say Ngannou because when you're going up to heavyweight, you want to see him fight the baddest, biggest, baddest. And Ciryl Gane's great, but he doesn't make you go.
But he don't put
that chill on your spine like Ciryl Gane's like Gane make you like
chicken skin. Didn't get chicken skin.
Because he has that eraser. It doesn't matter if he doesn't have the casting. He has the eraser any moment in the fight.
He's the most dominant puncher we've ever seen.
I just want to geek out on all the.
It would be great though. Gane and Jones would be tremendous.
The technique,
but then it could also look like him and the other guys. Like it could look like him and Anthony Smith and Dominic Reyes because those guys are pretty good.
I don't think he freezes Gane though. I don't think he makes him look.
But the problem is he may freeze against Ngannou.
Oh, that's
because of the power.
Up at heavyweight,
yeah.
What happened to rapid fire, bro?
We're having a nice
we're having a conversation here, bro.
Like,
I'm sorry, dude. Like,
we
haven't even fought one
You know
time.
what?
Like,
Hey, thanks for playing the game the right way. By the way, we are going to have Ciryl Gane.
So frustrated in our ears. Like the producers, like they're so mad.
We are going to have Francis Ngannou, and we're going to have Colby Covington joining the show as well.
Messy.
All right, fact or fiction? Henry Cejudo helping Davison Figueiredo is going to have a positive impact on the fighter that you see tomorrow night.
Oh, big fact. Facts all day. Facts it out.
I can't say this is going to help make him win, but it will have a positive impact.
He'll be better. Fact. He'll be better tomorrow. Better shape. Obviously, the weigh-ins showed that.
Okay, over under 3.5 rounds for Moreno-Figueiredo.
Over. I think that they're going to be. I think they're going to be back to being really
close.
A lot of parity, really close.
Over.
It's a 5-round fight.
Okay.
Look at us getting along, DC.
Hey, what is
Isn't it
going
fun?
on here?
Is it weird? Is it uncomfortable? Do you feel uncomfortable?
Very.
Let's go back to our contender series peeps. 5 season 5 winners: Jasudavicius, Valdez, Morales, Oliveira, and Della Maddalena.
Yep.
Which one of those are you most excited to see?
I feel like I should say someone different than I said earlier, just to be nice. So Genaro Valdez. I'm really, really excited to see Genaro Valdez. He throws hands, not afraid of a firefight. Comes from Entrim Gym. Great fighter.
Yeah, I'm going the same thing with Valdez, and not only just because of him, because of the matchup against Frivola.
Yes.
I mean, these two guys are going to go at it. Yeah.
I'm going to go Simon Oliveira. He was a massive favorite in his contender because there was so much expectation. He obviously didn't even live up to it and said he didn't fight great, but still got a contract. So how good is this guy really?
Well, we know how good Brandon Moreno is, the first Mexican-born champion in UFC history. What a story he has been. Cut from the UFC, earns his way back a year later, and now a champion. John Anik has more.
Sometimes a fighter comes along who doesn't check the boxes of a prototypical champion, who wasn't hyped out of the gate, who didn't come with the fanfare, who didn't have the pundits singing his praises every step of the way. That's what makes Brandon Moreno stand out. The fact that he didn't. The fact that he showed back up on the scene one day, stared down a savage as a 3-1 underdog, and like the assassin he is, walked away with the title. Brandon Moreno has done it! Did we believe he would make that kind of history, though? That he'd become the first Mexican-born champion in UFC history? That he joined the likes of Canelo Alvarez, Julio Cesar Chavez, and Marco Antonio Barrera as an embodiment of the fighting Mexican spirit, and become a point of national pride? After all, he did call his shot nearly 5 years ago in Nashville. He promised anyone who was listening that he was destined for the flyweight title.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, and maybe not the next month, but only one thing is true. I will be champion one day, I promise. I promise.
Some didn't listen, but those who did saw not only a champion, but a man of his word. All that was left was to trace back the improbable story itself, the winding road back to his formative years as a 12-year-old kid in Tijuana, who set out on an unlikely quest to realize his dream. The kid who lost 3 of his first 6 pro fights, yet didn't hang him up. The kid who made his way to the Ultimate Fighter, and as the 16th pick in a pool of 16, fell short. The kid who kept going, who stayed ready, and thereby was ready when the short notice call came in for his UFC debut, which he passed with flying colors.
Whoa! Brandon Moreno!
The 22-year-old kid who made the promise after his 3rd UFC fight before losing his way and being cut from the UFC. Yet resiliency in Mexico comes down to passion, to the corazon, and that is Moreno's story. Even in trying times, he just kept moving towards his goal. He went to the LFA and won the flyweight title there. He came back a hero in Mexico for his UFC return and fought one of the world's best to a draw. He battled for every scrap of earth. He scorched the wicked and batted back the fierce. He flashed his power, and he put on one of the greatest shows of 2020. He fought Davis and Figueiredo to a majority draw. Fluke? Not when beating the odds is your forte. Moreno did for Mexico what McGregor did for Ireland, what Bisping did for England, what Zhang Weili did for China. He gave his country an iconic moment. He gave his country something, someone to root for. For a fighter who didn't check many boxes as to what a champion should be, he certainly checks all of them for what a true champion really is.
You talked about it a bit earlier, DC, as did Anik there. Brandon Moreno gave his country an iconic moment. He gave them their first UFC champion ever, and we're seeing this now as a global sport, mixed martial arts and the UFC having massive impacts on countries where it may not used to have been as big. For instance, a Ciryl Gane in France now, it was a sport that wasn't legal just a few years ago. Now there are gyms opening up. Now there are television networks that are actually carrying UFC events there. So that this conversation is going to be you guys picking 5 fighters who have had the greatest impact, in your opinion, on a culture or a specific region or a country. All right? We're going to start with our Floridian here in Dean Thomas.
Number 1, or number 5, GSP in Canada. Now, I was there in Canada when he fought Jake Shields. The whole place had the little headbands on to emulate GSP. GSP in Canada had that impact.
Okay.
So
we're gonna go. Yeah, just run through them all.
Okay.
And they don't have to be in order, I don't think.
Okay. Weili Zhang in China. She won the title in China. That was the biggest moment in Chinese MMA history. BJ Penn for Hawaii. He turned it upside down. Conor McGregor for Ireland, and Khabib Nurmagomedov for Dagestan.
Okay, that's a solid list. However, you did leave Brandon Moreno off.
Yeah, which is crazy considering he's fighting this way. So disrespectful.
He's gone.
Well,
so disrespectful.
It goes without having to say.
I just sent a text message to one of our producers trying to add a name to my list because Dean said something. Hey, I hope they do it. I asked. All right, guys. So here's what I got. And if it showed, because my list pop up. So number 1 for me, I got Royce Gracie with Brazil, right? We all, UFC 1, Royce Gracie. I know he lives in America.
Though?
It really does. He's a Brazilian guy, Brazilian jiu-jitsu. It introduced the world to grappling and everything. Number 2, dude, we keep talking about Brandon Moreno as the first Mexican-born champion. Are we forgetting when Kane won the belt here in Southern California? Or when Kane hit the curtain here in California, or when we went to Mexico City for the first time ever? Guys like Brandon Moreno exist because Cain Velasquez is the first heavyweight champion of Mexican heritage ever. And plus, Cain lived like 5 miles from the Mexico border, like down in Arizona.
He's basically cheating with the brown pride tattoo.
Yes.
You know what I mean? He's pandering.
Kind of.
Michael Bisping, England, right? You got to put Michael Bisping up there for what he did for England. Conor McGregor for Ireland. Khabib Nurmagomedov for Russia. And George St. Pierre for Canada. So my list ultimately ended up being 6 people.
How convenient. How convenient.
My list ultimately ended up being 6 people.
How does that even happen?
Do you want to know how this happens? Because he just texted the producers while Dean was talking and asked them to ask GSP.
Oh my God.
So I am the judge and the jury in this. I can tell you right now, you ain't winning. Okay?
Hi, Felicia.
The problem is he's always on his phone, so you never know if he's cheating or just like checking Instagram.
Just, making a tea time or something.
Yeah, you never know.
Could you lift
and by the way, other people have to work to cover up for your mistakes. I don't know who's on graphics today, but thank you for making that adjustment.
Was that a good
for
list,
Daniel
though?
Cormier.
Was it a good list?
Yeah, it was a decent list, but it's invalid because it was 5 and you had 6. RJ will have 5.
I play by the rules. So I'll go number 5, George St. Pierre in Canada. They're not a violent people, Canadians, but they love a good Donnybrook. You know what I mean? They love a good, like, I imagine there's like the bar fights in Canada, there's like no blocking, no kicking. You just punch, and no weapons, and you're good.
And when it's over, they drink it.
They drink after, right? And George St. Pierre's like the perfect guy for that. I went a little different one here. Anderson Silva when he beat Vitor Belfort. Because you ask Brazilian like fighters, like younger fighters, who was your favorite fighter growing up?
Royce Gracie. They always say Royce Gracie.
They say Vanderlei Silva and Nogueira. But not until Anderson Silva beat Vitor Belfort did Anderson become that superstar in Brazil. Because Vitor was that, reality TV star, married a supermodel, all that stuff. Brandon Moreno, Mexico. That's why we're all here.
Yep.
Obviously, right?
Dean didn't get the memo, but okay.
No, he didn't. I think he's a personal dig. I don't know what Moreno did to Dean, but I think that was a personal slight. Weili Zhang in China. I mean, you've got a bajillion people in China. If you get 0.001% of them buying a pay-per-view, we're all driving Rolls Royces. And Michael Bisping for England. So England, they love their combat sports, but their athletes aren't always that great. I know Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua are doing great right now. But like every now and then, like Ricky Hatton will pop up and bam, they're a massive star.
But then
right?
he's gone.
Then he's gone. Michael Bisping pops up, becomes champion for 2 fights, then retires, right? So like all you need is just like a little bit of glimpse as an English fighter. They jump all over because the reign's not going to be that long.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good.
That's
list.
a pretty good list.
All right, you ready for the best?
The reasoning.
You ready for the best?
Yeah.
Okay, first off, not in any particular order, but it has to be said, Brandon Moreno from Mexico, because if you don't have that, you frankly shouldn't even be playing this game, D. Thomas.
There's like 2 disqualifications already.
It's really just down to you and I, RJ.
He transcends region. He's a world star.
It's a 2-person race.
He is a world star, but I mean, what he has done for Mexico, people want to look at someone that they can identify with, and now they have that person. That is a huge market for the UFC, not just in Mexico, in the United States as well. Zhang Weili, China, same reasoning as you gave RJ, 1.5 billion people to be specific, so do the math on that. I'm waiting on my Rolls Royce.
I was close with my bajillion. It's similar.
It's a great number. And then George St. Pierre in Canada. I feel like you can't have a list without George St. Pierre, as DC tried to cheat and add. It was already on my list. I'm going to go with Ciryl Adesanya. What are you looking at over there?
I'm trying to find out what's on the bottom of that list. I don't understand what you're doing on that one.
Just listen. If you listen, I would explain it to you. Ciryl Adesanya, not only because of his impact in Africa, but his impact in New Zealand. He's impacting 2 regions at the same time. And I feel like the African region in particular, and really, I feel like when you're African, you cheer for all of Africa. It really doesn't have to be a specific country.
I'm African. I don't know if I cheer for all of Africa.
I'm not touching that.
She got so uncomfortable.
I am white.
And when you're African,
out of that conversation. I just went,
you said when you're African,
she got so
cheer for all
uncomfortable.
Africans. I mean, I'm African. I don't know if I cheer for all Africans.
I'm not allowed to even comment on that. And then lastly, I put Ronda Rousey.
Oh, man.
Because she changed MMA in the United States. She opened up MMA to an entire class of people, being the females, okay? You have to think of it that way. She changed MMA worldwide.
You could put Chuck Liddell Chuck Liddell or even Tito Ortiz, like, they're the ones that have made it for America.
But she did something they could never do. She made it accessible to the average American. She was on Ellen DeGeneres and like shows that those guys were obvious MMA fighters.
Chuck Liddell was on the O'Reilly commercials way back. Remember the O'Reilly commercials?
Oh, yeah. That's not the same thing.
Chuck was the man. Like, Chuck was the man.
He was the man, but he didn't introduce a new group of people.
Yeah, but it's a curveball you're throwing, the women's region.
Women and the general populace.
If you said women, I would have went with that.
For women.
For women.
Women.
But, Kimbo Slice was on the Nickelodeon channel. You know what I'm saying?
Right. What about
was
Kimbo?
he really?
Yeah, he was.
That's bizarre.
All right, we need to pick a winner here. I've already told Dean you're out with no Brandon Moreno. DC, you're out because you cheated as usual with 6 people instead of 5. It comes down to Laura and RJ. Laura, I love your list. I wish you guys, one of the 2 of you, had Conor McGregor, because I think in terms of growing the sport and making it popular all over the world, somebody should have had Conor McGregor. You're already out. But the one that you did have that I agree with is Bisping, and you did not have Bisping. RJ wins, he gets the belt.
Oh, what?
And RJ gets to pick somebody to spin the wheel.
Oh, my gosh. The champion. Oh. For stage managers everywhere, you're welcome.
Congratulations.
Oh, man. Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. This isn't going anywhere. Oh, man. Which cheater should spin more? Oh, man.
We do the show,
Come on, DC, give it a spin. Do you want me to spin for your punishment, or you got it? Want me to spin for you? I'll spin for you. All right, here we go.
Oh, I can't wait.
Completely
I cannot wait. What does that say?
Social media.
Oh, yes!
So,
give me your phone.
Give me your phone. We get to post anything we want on your social media.
So wait a minute.
This is great.
Anything we want.
So
that's
wait a minute.
rule.
Forget
One
his social media. Go through his browser
a video on Instagram story that we get to put
Instagram story
on there.
Wait, so here's the camera, and that's it.
RJ, go through the phone.
This is a team effort, guys.
Browser history.
Browser history?
Browser history.
What's this show rated? All right, guys. So here we go. Laura, we have DC's phone. What should we do with it?
Listen, we're going to do whatever we want with this phone.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to go through this phone. We're going to publish what is in this phone, and there are some deep, dark secrets.
Oh, my goodness.
I just want to say that DC and I had a conversation prior to the show, and he told me that he really does love you, John Jones. Deep down inside, he really does love you.
So much.
A lot.
Yeah.
DC my boy, so I'm not gonna mess with DC. That's my boy.
That's my boy right there. D, look at right here. D, that's my boy.
Love you, DC.
That's my boy right there. Oh my goodness, Ellie. So I gotta post it.
Is it not already posted? Make sure it gets posted.
Yeah, post it. Definitely post it.
We are waiting for Ciryl Gane, and here he is, walking up to the stage right now. Remember, he is one of 3 fighters who have yet to weigh in. Little jump shot with the T-shirt. Let's listen.
He's big, man.
He is big.
Should have milked it more.
Your microphone's still open over there, like talking
247 pounds, the official weight for Bongama, Ciryl Gane.
247, 6'4". Francis looked a lot thinner, right? I thought Ciryl looked a lot smaller because in New York he looked big. But he still looks big, but he looks in such great shape. 6'4", 247. I mean, think about this. There was a time where it was the land of the giant heavyweight. Remember Brock and Shane Carwin? And then guys got really small, Velasquez and Stipe and everybody. And now you're getting right into that perfect size for a heavyweight.
Yep.
6'4", somewhere in the 248 to 260 range. Guys that are athletic, can move, and guys that look like they could do other things. Like Laura said earlier, this guy would be an NFL tight end if he was living in the United States as a kid.
100%. And Francis Ngannou would be on the D line. I mean, these are real athletes, both 6'4" supposedly. Both, I mean, they're within about 13 pounds of each other. But somehow Francis just has this bigness to his, and I don't know if it's his energy. I don't know if it's because of the power, but it reminds me of what you said. It reminds me of Brock.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Brock beat people with his density sometimes, not necessarily his skill set.
Yeah, when I look at these two guys as somebody with a football background, I look at Francis Ngannou as a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end who gets to the quarterback in a straight line. And you look at Ciryl Gane as an edge rusher who can drop back into pass coverage too because the footwork's so good, right?
Yeah, he's so athletic.
That's how you look at the speed.
I was proud of my football analogy with the tight end.
No, I thought that was really good.
And you had to go and outdo it and no, we're going to get more technical with this.
I needed
to show you up and show you don't know anything about football.
I needed to make an adjustment here so I could transition to
other
DC
sports, right?
in terms of footwork and then to hockey, right?
Other sports, right? So here at the UFC, we try not to limit ourselves, and the greatest athlete in UFC history, that would be one Daniel Cormier, decided, let's take it up another level. Last time you saw me playing hockey, I beat Stipe in the Coach's Challenge. So I figured, why not go and play with the pros? I went and played with the Anaheim Ducks yesterday. Check it out. What's up, guys? It's DC. I'm in Anaheim, so I figured why not go to an ice skating rink? Because if there's something that I'm not good at, it becomes my personal mission to become great. but I also need a win here in Anaheim. There's never been a guy that have lost more UFC championships in this place. So if I need a win, what should I do? You gotta go to the pros. So right here, I'm with John Gibson and Matt Comswab, the Anaheim Ducks. Guys, how are you going to make me, Daniel Cormier, the elite athlete of the world, into a great hockey player?
I'm gonna give you some pointers, but I think first we gotta get you suited up and see you put these pads on.
Who's gonna be like hitting the puck towards me?
This guy right here.
Max, you gotta take care of me, son.
We'll see. We'll shoot a couple pucks. We'll see how you do.
All right, let's do it, boys. Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh my God! Oh, this is not gonna work.
I see his balance.
Hey, when you see this, when you see that, no puck will pass. No puck shall pass.
This is amazing.
Oh, shit!
You can't even bend down.
That's Ciryl. How did you get that?
They gotta pick me up every time. Yeah, but I got a little too. I got arrogant after I stopped the cover.
Stay here. When you lose your balance, just grab the net.
I can't stay here.
Dad, I can't.
This is gonna be great.
Oh man, I hope you do this.
Took it easy on him.
They did. Way easy. Look.
Delicate.
Did you see that?
You tried though.
He went side to side on him. He went side to side on him.
He's waiting, Zach.
Great stick.
You suck, Derek. Good job, baby. But then I look good once I put the jersey on.
Oh yeah.
I look like the real deal.
You had to save.
It was fitted personally for me.
See if you can hit the
They teach you how to skate?
Put your hands down a
Nah, man,
little
they
more.
didn't teach me anything, man. They just put me
Now
out.
what you want to do is you want to slide the puck and shoot it.
Looks like he's teaching there.
I mean, come on, Dan.
Oh, dude.
That was that move you did on me. That's that move right there. Was the move. That's the one that'll get you an all-star game right there.
Oh, man. Yo, man, that's a liability, man. You about to break something.
There you go.
There we go. Let's go. So I spent the last hour of my life falling gracefully on my back. I fell gracefully. One thing I do know, though, can't play hockey, can't skate, but what I can do is fight. You guys remember, double champ and all that other shit. My man Sam here, though, has been in a fight or two. So Sam, why don't you and I engage on something that's a little bit more fair, because I want all this, man. You know what I'm saying? So Sam,
let's go.
You guys stare down.
Yep.
And then once you stare, look, we stare down in the UFC.
Yeah.
But there's no fight at the weigh-ins. Once you guys stare down, what happens next?
So usually what happens is I'll say something like, hey, you want to go? And you either say yeah or no. If you say yeah, then it's stick, gloves off.
Oh yeah,
and it's go time.
Look at that.
And I'm looking to grab onto you.
Okay.
And you grab onto me.
Yeah.
And you're right here, lefty. And then
And then it's just go. Sam, your fighting skills is. So it's great. I really love it. I can't hear it. But let me show you one thing. When you get in here, right? We take the underhook.
Yeah.
It's called dirty boxing. You are a dirty boxing savant.
Right.
So when you take this here, right?
Yeah.
And you start to punch, don't go head hunting, Sam. Hit him right up on the elbow here, and then the right hand over the top. Try that. Try that real quick. So here.
They ain't got no pad
Body
there,
shot
do they?
first. Boom.
They'll never
And then
do
over
that.
the top. Boom. And let me tell you something. That's the one. Don't waste your time head hunting. You go to the body, and then you wrap the right hand over the top.
I love it.
And then it's good night. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you.
You are the man. Thank you, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, once again, undefeated, double champ in the octagon, triple champ on the ice. See you guys next time. Y'all
That was great.
I saw you. You saw me out there doing my thing.
I saw you do your thing, boy.
I saw your feet above your head a lot.
I actually did my thing. And I got to be honest with you. When gravity takes a hold of this body and you start to go towards the ice, to fall as gracefully as, they never heard me hit the ice one time.
Well, you're very low to the ground.
Yeah,
that's true.
I would just fall so soft.
What video
that
did you
takes
just
skill.
watch? What video
it takes
did
skill.
you just
Listen,
watch?
I was so much better yesterday than I was before. But here's the problem. I am an elite athlete. Another elite athlete's fighting for the heavyweight championship tomorrow. I'm a better basketball player than him. I know that I'm a better hockey player than him, and they tell me Ciryl Gane's been over here laughing. So let's bring in Ciryl Gane, Ciryl Gane, what are you laughing at, man? Why are you laughing at me?
No. I just want to make some claps for you. It was beautiful. It was good.
It was really nice. You saw, hey Ciryl, you saw when I like gave him the little right through the middle, and I grabbed him by the shirt and went to punch him.
Yeah, I saw that.
You like that?
I saw that. So the last shot was beautiful, and like this also.
Dirty box champ. You got a dirty box champ. You like that, Doan? You like that? Exactly. You want to go play some hockey?
Oh man, that's really crazy. That's exactly what I say. That's really strange. You can fight. This is not the sport to fight, but you can take off your glove and you knock the guy. That's really crazy. That's more dangerous than MMA for sure.
It is crazy when you're on skates, especially when you're an awful skater like Daniel Cormier, Ciryl. I'm glad that you got a chuckle out of watching that. I am curious, though, on a serious note, what you thought when Francis shared with everybody some of your sparring sessions, and what you thought when he shared that video.
Yeah, some video turn off on the social media. It was a good part of my sparring with Francis, so that's why he was a little bit angry about that. He did a very well part of sparring also, but he was not filming, and so that's why he told some lie on the press conference, like he knocked me down with the left high kick. But this is not true. This is not true.
Have you allowed yourself, I know you're so focused on this fight, but have you allowed yourself to look ahead at all as to who you would want to fight if you win this and become champion next?
No. I'm really, every time I told that, I'm really focused on my next step every time. The step in front of me, and after we will see. I must win if I want to ask someone. I must win this weekend, so that's why I'm always focused on my mission.
Ciryl, we talked a lot. In fact, just a few minutes ago, we were talking a lot about your style, your footwork, your elusiveness. Did you set out, when you started MMA, did you set out to be a very different style heavyweight, or is that just something that comes naturally to you?
Yes, I know. Now I'm aware about that. At first, I was the people I saw came with me. I'm not special, but more time after a few times, yes, I saw that this is something special, and I think tomorrow I'm gonna inspire some people in this division to move very well, to be more technical, and we will see for the future. But I think the next era gonna be like that.
Do you feel like having at least shared some rounds in the gym, some sparring, you felt the power of Francis Ngannou to a degree? Do you feel like that gives you an edge entering the octagon that no other opponent that Francis has had? Do you have an edge that they have not had mentally?
I'm not sure to the question because I don't really good, but if you ask me if I feel the power of Francis Ngannou during the sparring, yes, 100%. This is an animal. This is an animal. He's really strong. He's really tough, and that's why I'm really excited about this fight. I can't wait to see how I can manage this guy.
Ciryl, you stay so calm. You're one of the most composed fighters I've ever seen. And you haven't even really been doing this that long. How do you stay so calm and composed in these big moments?
I don't know exactly. I'm just focused on my mission. I think the word is focus. I'm just focused. Everything around, the stress, the pressure. When I jump in the cage, everything go out. Just focus and do some mathematics, for calculate the range, how I can manage the guy in front of me. This is exactly my feeling when I'm in the cage.
Ciryl, you know, when I became the champion, there was the whole John Jones thing. So it was almost like an interim championship. You're the interim champion right now. How important is it for you to be the undisputed champ and really not have to hear, well, this is essentially, he's the #1 contender, it's not his belt. How important it is for you, Ciryl Gane, to be the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world?
I'm not focused on that. I'm really not focused on that. The people talk a lot about that, but for me, it's really not on my mind. Really not on my mind. My mission is just, I'm a competitor, so I want to win my next fight. I just want to win. I train a lot during this camp for this fight, so that's why I want to win this fight. But if tomorrow, if I lose, is not my record like undefeated. No matter.
Yeah.
No matter. Seriously.
Ciryl, people have now talked about Francis never seeing someone like you, but he's fought Stipe Miocic twice. What is it about Ciryl Gane that you can bring to the octagon and to the fight that Francis has not seen, that can really make him pause inside the octagon and not really understand how he's supposed to approach you?
I'm not sure to the question. Can you repeat, my man?
What's the difference? What makes you so different than everything Francis has seen, especially when he's fought guys like Stipe Miocic and Alistair Overeem?
Okay. I think I have something new. Like we thought just a few seconds. I got something new. I think I'm a problem. I think the people don't understand, but they understand when the fight started, and that's why he should to take me in serious. He should to take me in serious. The footwork, the fight IQ. This is not a disrespect for Stipe because he's a huge fighter, really huge fighter, really a good fight IQ. But I got something different, really different of the people in this division.
Ciryl Gane, interim heavyweight champion. We appreciate the time, but we can't let you go before we get a prediction. How long is this going to go, and how are you going to win?
Really great question. I don't know exactly, but like I say, I want to make a show, and I want to win this fight. I hopefully to win this fight because it's the last step, and when we are close to your target, you want to win this fight. So I really want to win this fight, so you can expect a big firework.
All right, Ciryl Gane, this is one we've all been looking forward to, my friend. Best of luck. Can't wait to see it tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.
There's the interim heavyweight champ. We do have a couple more weigh-ins to go. Here is Said Nurmagomedov, DC.
You know, for Said, he had a fantastic UFC debut. He's been away for a while. Hasn't been able to capitalize on the momentum. And when you're away that long, a sadness kind of takes a hold of you. And he said that he's been sad, waiting, like wanting to compete. But now that he's back, he said he looks forward to like competing multiple times. He wants to be very active, and the guy feels like this matchup tomorrow night will springboard him.
Official weight 136 pounds for Said Nurmagomedov.
The dude's a problem. He has well-rounded skills. He's a really good wrestler, but he also has tremendous striking.
He's a very good striker. Speaking of good strikers, Francis Ngannou, the only man who has yet to weigh in, so we will be waiting for that, and we'll be going there, obviously. We're also going to be talking to Francis Ngannou and Colby Covington headlining UFC 272 against Jorge Masvidal. Tickets on sale today. I believe they just went on sale 23 minutes ago, to be exact.
Probably sold out already.
I think they probably are.
That's been how it's been lately.
Get them quick, my friends. Get them quickly. All right, let's play a little game. We are in Anaheim. So this is the home of Disneyland.
Okay. Bring my belt.
Disneyland.
Bring my belt.
It's not yours, it's Justin
If it has
Gaethje's.
anything to do with Disney, bring my belt.
Actually, the belt right now belongs to...
I've got a 16.
Oh, that's right.
So,
This is going to be tough, Dean. My kid's a little bit older. Your son is how old?
He's 16.
Okay, 16.
He was always a thug, too. Never really. He never really was down with Disney.
Okay, You guys are gonna have to name the movie and character associated with the Disney quote. Okay, it's dialogue or a song. All right,
Okay,
you're gonna
let's
get
go.
1 point for each. Possible 2 points for every answer. All right, let's start with number 1. To infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond.
Wait, character and movie?
Yes.
Okay.
1 point for each.
All right, tell me when.
All right, let's wait for Dean. He's taking a little bit longer.
Yeah, Dean, that's fine. Yeah, that's right, Dean.
All right. All right, let's flip them.
Yep, that's right, Dean.
God, did we all get them?
Yeah, we did.
Toy Story,
It looks
Buzz
like it
Lightyear.
says Toy Stubby on yours.
Okay. All right, here we go. Here's the next quote. Phenomenal cosmic powers in an itty-bitty living space. Phenomenal cosmic powers in an itty-bitty living space. 1990s Disney movie here, guys. A little bit older. All right, is everybody good?
Yep.
Okay, let's show the answer before. There it is. It's Aladdin, and it's the genie.
Oh, the genie said it right.
I know, I just wanted like a name.
Laura gets 2. My goodness.
Okay, Laura's the only one that gets 2 there.
All right, all right.
All right. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. This is a classic. I mean, we're talking from like the 40s or 50s. This is old school. When you wish upon a star, your dreams come true. Oh, man. All right, give me an idea when you guys are, yeah, Dean's taking him a minute. I think he's getting there. He's going old school classic, trying to think about that.
That's not right.
All right, the answer, hold on, don't flip him just yet. Don't flip him just yet. The answer is Pinocchio.
Oh, my goodness.
The character is Jiminy Cricket.
Oh, my goodness. I put Cinderella.
I almost.
Oh, my God, I'm getting
All right,
pushed out. I got arrogant.
Senko is
She's
rolling.
killing us. My goodness, she's killing us.
All right, the next one is, you want thingamabobs? I've got 20.
I could sing this whole song.
You want thingamabobs? I've got 20.
I've got who's it's and what's it's galore.
All right. This is a 90s-ish movie, I believe.
Wait, so guys, I need to know the score.
They're doing a little remake here. Of
All right, I'm ready.
Maybe I understand. All right, don't flip them yet until you're directed to flip, ladies and gentlemen. Here it is. There it is. Flip them.
I want to be where the people
Oh, he put
are.
the Lion King. So how far now? How far behind Laura
2 and
am
2.
I? Okay, I get 2. Okay.
All right,
Laura's
here's the
up
next
by
one.
2 on me, right? Or 1?
All right, you ready? Hakuna Matata. What a wonderful phrase.
Dude, these are too easy for Laura, man.
I think you're right.
They want to get her a win.
His name.
Okay.
Oh, really?
And the answer
All right, I'm ready.
is...
Go. All right, we're ready.
It's the Lion King.
Yeah, I just couldn't think of the name.
Timon.
Timon.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. And Pumbaa. Nope, because they sang it together. Yep. Yep.
And look what we have here, guys.
Predator Francis Ngannou.
There goes the champ. Francis Ngannou.
The...
You ever hear Francis' voice recording for like telling you his name? Francis the Predator.
Yeah,
Ngannou.
the Predator Ngannou.
The pronunciation files.
This dude is just power personified. It may not always look pretty, but if he connects, you go to sleep.
It's starting to look prettier too.
He's getting better. And here's the issue. When he's getting ready to fight, everybody in that arena is just on pins and nails. Because you know, pins and needles, sorry, because you know explosion is just going to happen at any moment. He's 265.
257.
Oh,
257
lighter
pounds.
than he is right in.
Dude, when we
last
were in
few?
Vegas, he's 280, 285. Remember, like when he's like not in camp, he's huge.
But he still looks shredded when he
still looks shredded.
He
Like
picked
30
me up with one hand and spun me around. Like I was literally taking a picture with him. He literally just arm curled my entire body and started swinging me around and around and around and
Dude
around.
is strong, man.
It was crazy.
Yeah, you ever see when he picked up Shaq? He was just like, whoop.
Pick Shaq.
I mean, Shaq and I are way similar.
Shaq is like almost 400.
Shaq almost 400 pounds.
Yeah.
When you look at this matchup, if you're Ciryl Gane, would you grapple a little bit?
You have to.
Because wrestling cardio is different than stand-up cardio.
You got to try to tax him, even if it's just getting in the clinch with him and making him carry you. You got to try to tax him. You got to try to make him tired. You got to make all those muscles like start to blow up, build up the lactic acid, and make him use muscles that he's not used to using.
Okay, you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, you gotta put a whole game on him, like everything.
I disagree.
You just
No, I want to hear this. I just don't think you should. I don't think you should grab. Like, I don't think you should clinch because of the dirty boxing of Francis.
Dude, it
The
doesn't.
power
Like,
is too much.
But if you're clinching in the correct
taxing
way,
yeah,
like right, if you're clinching with the underhook and the pull,
But he can
they
tax him just
punch.
by moving and by making him miss.
Because even Derek Lewis, when I was grappling with him, he was hitting me, and I can still feel it. But they're not knocking you out from here. They're knocking you out when they can get extended. I mean, we haven't seen him knock anybody out from that close, right? It's normally when he's rushing or they're rushing.
Yeah.
He hasn't necessarily just caught somebody in tight.
I love that you guys have a differing opinion. That's never happened before on this show. Laura and DC.
Yeah, I know, right?
We get back to the game so I can get my belt.
Okay. All right, you guys ready?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Oh, actually, we're going to hold on the game. Francis Ngannou. So kind
here's
enough
the champ.
To,
All right.
To join us now.
He came right away. He looked mad too. Look at his face. He looked all mad. I mean, look at his face.
He's not mad. Francis is happy.
He looks mad. Look at it. He looked mad as hell too.
Francis, thank you for joining
I'm
us.
not mad, brother.
This is
I can't hear him.
DC will be with you in just a moment. This is Dan Hellie. I'll get you started off. It's been so long, I feel like, since we've seen you in the octagon in a fight, and the last time you were there was against Stipe, and it was such a great fight for you. You were very patient, very calculated, and you've talked about how you had to keep reminding yourself to be patient. Will you be the same way against Ciryl in this fight tomorrow?
Yeah, it's going to be the same strategy with a little bit more offense because Ciryl is not, I mean, he doesn't have a caliber of wrestling of Stipe, but although, yes, I still have to be calm and collect and think about everything before execute.
Francis, you know, you're fighting a guy that is familiar with you. That really shouldn't matter. You still have knockout power. Did you take anything from the press conference yesterday, staring face to face, looking into his eyes? Are you more sure that you knock him out on Saturday night?
Yeah, I mean, as I've been saying the whole week, I kind of like know him a little bit, and he knows me. And at the press conference, I really saw how he didn't have as confidence on himself. You know, he was there with the earpiece, so they have to like tell him what to say. I mean, at that point, you realize that they get in his mind with this too. So he wasn't even speaking his mind at that time. So yeah, that's something that I take out from the press conference.
Is there a legitimate beef between you and Ciryl Gane? Do you guys like each other?
There's no. I mean, personally, I don't know about him, but personally, I have no problem with him.
Francis,
and I don't know what his take out of this situation, but there is not a beef between me and him.
Francis, we've talked a lot about the familiarity between you two, but what evolution of your game do you think Ciryl Gane will be surprised by?
Well, I think every aspect. I would have said even a wrestling. If we have to wrestle, he would be surprised of. If we have to grapple, he would be surprised of. And then even striking he won't be surprised of because he knows that pretty good. Power punch, he knows that. So yeah. There is the two aspects, which is wrestling and grappling.
Francis, what do you say to those who say that you may have been a little distracted going into this fight?
Well, seeing the amount of thing that is around, Yes, they are right to think so, you know, but it's my work, it's my job to stay focused, to get out of my mind, you know, because regardless, when they're going to close that cage, I think you're just going to be there for the fight and nothing will matter at that time. You know, that's what I know. Like when they close the cage and they say fight, when your fighting instinct shows up and you just have to fight. And everything else doesn't matter at that time, and maybe it will matter after, but at that time, no. Yes, there is a lot of things, but that didn't stop me at all. I make sure that anything didn't stop me from having a proper training camp and a good walk-in. I work out pretty good, and you know, I even show up on this fight, even though I started this camp heavier than I started the Stipe camp. I make sure I work out and I get here even lighter than I was in the previous fight. You know, so this didn't take out anything of my training camp.
Well, you certainly looked the part. I have to ask you before we let you go, how's it going to end tomorrow night?
Well, my prediction is me knocking it out in the first round.
First round, the champ.
Two first round.
Forster second. Okay, okay. Hey, Francis, thank you so much for the time. We really appreciate you coming on. So much looking forward to you getting back in the octagon. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
All right, that was Francis Ngannou, and joining us now, it is Colby Covington. You're going to see him at 272 against Jorge Masvidal. Colby, thanks for hanging on. We really appreciate you joining us. Listen, we know the storylines here, right? You guys are former teammates, you're buddies, or former buddies, you were roommates. I'm curious, after this has kind of been signed, sealed, and delivered, after the news came out that you two are going to be facing each other, have you guys communicated at all?
Nah, we cut off the communication a long time ago. You know, when he started to get jealous and envious of my rise and success up to the top, you know, he wanted to backstab me like the bum he is, you know, like he does to everybody. He likes to use people and for anything they can do to help him. But as soon as someone is starting to do a little better than him, then he backstabs them and turns it in the back, you know, puts it, you know, a knife in their back. So, you know, I haven't talked to him, and I won't talk to him until I finish him on March 5th.
Right after the fight with Kamaru, this was the fight that you talked about that you wanted. Why did you want this one against Masvidal so badly?
Yeah, I've wanted this fight for a long time. You know, George has been talking reckless in the media, saying some things, saying it's on site, saying that, you know, if he sees me in the streets, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. Okay, I want to see him be accountable for his words. You know, I'm a man of my word. Everything I say, I back it up. So let's see if he can do the same. So this is personal. This isn't about the rankings. This isn't about pay-per-view draws. This isn't about anything other than settling the biggest grudge match the UFC's ever seen. So March 5th, you're going to see the best Colby Chaos Covington.
It's a great grudge match, and it's a rare pay-per-view that doesn't have a title fight headlining the card. That shows us how big this matchup is. There was a lot of back and forth, though, on social media between the two of you, him saying that you didn't want to fight, you saying that he didn't want to fight. It's done now, but what was the holdup and what's the truth?
I mean, honestly, does anybody actually believe anything George says to the media? I mean, he says so much stuff that it's just all fake news. You can't believe anything that guy says. So as soon as Hunter Campbell called me, I signed on the dotted line before he called me. You know, I've been signing that contract for the last 2 years. They were trying to make this fight, you know, after I finished Woodley and finished off his career. And, you know, he was finding any way out of fighting me. So, you know, there was no holdup on my end. It was only holdup on his end. He was asking for more money. He wanted this, he wanted that. So he knows this is a career-ending fight for him.
Colby, not long ago, Jorge said that Donald Trump would be cheering for him in this fight. He said that to the media. What's your reaction to that comment?
My reaction is I'm still team captain. You know, I'm still, you know, Jorge's daddy, and he's just following in the footsteps of his daddy. You know, he wants to be just like me so much that, you know, he wants to do everything I do. But let's be honest, did Jorge even vote for Donald Trump? Because I know I did. I'd love for the voters out there to go look it up and see if Jorge actually voted for Trump. You know, I don't know if they let felons vote for Trump. You know, it's good we got a felon on the Republican side because there's so many felons and criminals on the liberal side. So let's be honest. Did he actually even vote for Trump? Someone look that up.
I will have someone look that up. Colby, you're obviously no stranger to having tension, beef coming into a fight. You like to stir the pot, but with this tension feeling about as real as it's going to get, do you use that in the fight, or when it comes to the octagon door being shut, do you shut that out of your mind, or do you use it as fuel in the fight?
You know, I use it, Laura, as fuel in my training. You know, I've stepped up my training to another level that I've never trained before. I'm training harder, you know, more diligently and just more precise than I ever have in my career. I feel like I'm really starting to hit leaps and bounds and just evolve at a pace that I've never evolved before. And it just stems to this personal grudge match, wanting to finish this and move on to the next order of business. So I won't use anything in the fight. You know, there's no emotions when I step inside that octagon. It's all business. You know, it's all serious focus and game plan. You know, I'm not going to throw my game plan out the window. I'm going to go out there and fight how I fight. And March 5th, you know, Jorge's in for a rude awakening. He's not going to be the same person after I'm finished with him. And no matter how much the UFC pays him on March 5th when he wakes up in a hospital bed, all that money won't be worth it.
Colby, as a fan of the sport, it is always a treat to see your name pop up on a card. And it's nice to have it happen not that long after your last fight, maybe 4 or 5 months. How important is that activity to you to be able to get back in the octagon a little bit sooner than we've seen you be able to do in the past?
Yeah, it's very important. You know, I want to keep improving inside that octagon and show that I'm the greatest pound-for-pound fighter in the world. You know, I'm coming off a fight for a world title fight where I won 3 out of 5 rounds. So I am the champion right now. I'm the people's champ. I'm America's champ. I'm Donald Trump's favorite fighter. And March 5th, you're going to see a new Colby Chaos Covington. And I'm just grateful, you know, to the UFC, to Dana White, Hunter Campbell for this opportunity, you know, to let me get back in that octagon within 4 months of my title fight and go win that King of Miami belt on March 5th. And it's so ironic that this fight is on 305 because I am the king of the 305, King of Miami, and I'm going to put on a show for Miami on 305 day.
Colby, for all the bad blood now that you and George share, how did you guys become friends? And like, when you look back on that friendship, is there anything positive that you think back to? Like, I know that it's hard now whenever it kind of sours, but like before there were so many videos and pictures of you guys seeming like you're really good friends.
Yeah, you know, DC, you know, the natty goat first and foremost. It's always an honor to take your questions. But, you know, I can't really take any positives from our relationship, man. Jorge is such a piece of shit person. I mean, cheats on his wife, cheats on his taxes, doesn't talk to his kids, just uses people. And that's all he was doing, DC. He was using me because he needed someone that was going to push him high pace in training, and someone that was going to give him wrestling knowledge and train with him every day and be by his side to help him along his journey. But as soon as, you know, I started leveling up and getting up close to him and passing him up in the rankings, that's when he kicked me to the curb and he backstabbed me for money and fame. So, you know, he's a jealous and envious little bitch. And I promise you, DC, he's going to pay the ultimate price on March 5th, only on pay-per-view.
You know, Colby, when you look at the matchup, it seems as though this would be a nightmare for Masvidal. Are you surprised that he took this fight?
No, I'm not surprised, DC. He's got a lot of alimony payments and a lot of child support to pay. So, you know, he's broke right now. You know, he's going to be paying out Maritza. You know, he always likes to say in the media, I slept on his couch. No, I didn't sleep on your couch, George. I slept on Maritza's couch, your ex-wife. So she supported us in our dreams. She cooked for us, cleaned for us, worked for us so we could chase our dreams to be the best in the world. And, you know, you turn your back on her, too, just like you turn your back on me. So it's personal March 5th. And guess what? Just like you said you got me, I got you, Maritza. I'm going to take care of George on March 5th.
Colby, you're such a polarizing figure. You've pissed a lot of people off in the game. But you have some people that love you as well. But it seems to me like you thrive off of the hatred. Do you thrive off of the hatred?
I just thrive off of all the idiots in the media and people that think that I'm not about that life and don't think I'm about what I say. You know, these words, this is truth. This is honesty. Yeah, it hurts. It hurts people's feelings, but this isn't the Ultimate Feelings Championship. This is the Ultimate Fighting Championship. So if someone has a problem with what I had to say, then come, you know, do something about it in the octagon, but they can't, you know. So, you know, I think people should start recognizing, you know, what I've done to this game and be appreciative for it.
Colby, this is an interesting position that you're in now, getting to fight Jorge. A win against Jorge, where does that put you?
It puts me right back in line to get another fight with Usman. You know, the people saw in Madison Square Garden in New York City what happened in that fight. I easily won 3 rounds. You know, I think I won 4 rounds. The only round he clearly won was the second. I won the first, the third, the fourth, and the fifth. So the people saw that. They want that fight again. There's no one that's on his level that can compete with him like I can. So this fight needs to happen again. There needs to be a trilogy because he hasn't proved that he's the better fighter. He hasn't proved that he's the best welterweight in the world, and there's still unfinished business there. So I think after I finish Jorge Masvidal on March 5th, it puts me right back in line to get my title shot.
I still want to do that Dean Diaries with you.
Hey, man, if you weren't busy, you know, talking shit, saying I wasn't about that life in the media, you know, I'd be down. But Dan, you're nothing more than Tyron Woodley's water boy. So for you to talk shit about me in the media is just, it's criminal.
I know, wow.
He's not pulling any punches.
You don't want to get on the wrong side of chaos.
Yeah.
Hey, Colby, who else out there would you want to fight? There's Kamaru, obviously there's Jorge. Who else?
You know, I think Louisiana Swamp Trash, Dustin Poirier, you know, that's a fight that needs to happen after this. That's another personal grudge match. You know, we got a long history training together. He used to talk shit saying it was on site. He was going to the owner of American Tap Team, and he was crying to him up in his feelings to this billionaire. Oh, Colby's so mean. He says some mean things about me in the media. Kick him out, do something, you know, don't let him train at our gym. So, you know, that fight needs to happen. He said to the media it's on site. I'm holding people accountable for all these, you know, fake news that they're saying to the media. You know, everything I say to you guys, I back it up. So, you know, that fight needs to happen. Louisiana Swamp Trash, Dustin Poirier, bring your little Jezebel of a wife, bring that little prop you used as a kid, and let's do this. It's on site. Pick the site, Dustin.
Colby, you don't think you should talk about the families like that, my man?
Hey, DC, like the saying goes, you know, if someone has something to say about it, come do something to me. Come to the octagon and back it up.
Chaos, they got some dudes going to be lining up to fight you, my friend.
You know I stay ready, my brother. Just like you.
Colby Covington, he does speak his mind, to say the least. Colby, we do appreciate the time.
Thanks for having me, guys. Don't miss it. March 5th on pay-per-view. You're going to see something you've never seen before.
All right, that is Colby Covington, Jorge Masvidal,
Colby
in
Covington,
UFC 272.
What an awkward transition from Colby Covington to Disney.
Talk about two polar opposite ends of the spectrum.
You actually to just kind of keep yourself together.
I was so uncomfortable.
Well, I know his writing team, so like I'm not tripping. He's got a writing team. Right. I know them all.
As we go back to the Disney quote game, I'm actually forgetting to exactly where we were. I think we're on number 6.
I just got Timon and Pumbaa.
Which is
the only thing you got.
Some people are worth melting for. Some people are worth melting for. I love seeing like Dean's brain work on this because it's just probably been so long since any of these movies have been seen. All right, I'll tell you when to flip it. Don't flip it yet. Our director Anthony's going to give us the answer on the screen, and it's from Frozen.
No,
it's Olaf.
She actually was still drawing it. Oh, she got one.
Elsa, Frozen, Beauty and the Beast, no.
Oh, obviously it would be the snowman.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you put?
I put the teapot on Beauty and the Beast. You know, because I got to be honest.
All right.
He said that too. He said something like that.
I don't know if that's factual. This is a classic. Who are you? Who are you? This is old. This is like before you were born.
This is great.
Who are you?
Who are you?
Man, I don't know this, man.
Shocker that DC doesn't know one. All right, DC's going to be.
All right, man.
Okay. Let's see it on the screen. It's from Alice in Wonderland. It's a caterpillar. Conor McGregor and Jeremy Stephens.
Give him a point.
Just give him a point.
He should get one for that. He should get one for that. All right, the next one. I look at you and I'm home. Or another one from the same character in the same movie. Just keep swimming. I look at you and I'm home.
I know who this is.
Just keep swimming.
Oh, man, you just gave it away.
I did?
Yeah, you did.
I'm giving you hints, buddy. I'm trying to give you a chance.
All right. Dean ain't getting it. But...
All right, wait. All right, the answer is Finding
Steamboat
Nemo.
Willie?
It's Dory.
Who the heck is Steamboat Willie?
He's so far behind, I would just keep giving him points.
Steamboat Willie.
Dang it. What's the score here? Laura's up 2 or 3?
Laura's up 3 right now. She has 11 points. All right, if she gets a 2-pointer here, it's over. All right, here it is. In every job that must be done, there is an element of fun. In every job that must be done, there's an element of fun. This is another classic. This is old.
I know this one too, and it won't work.
I don't think Dean's going to get it. They're just turning him over. Mary Poppins.
We both got it, but I think it's over because Laura got 2. God.
Sorry, not sorry.
Oh, wow. That is over.
I actually got this too.
Sanko.
Oh, no.
New belt holder.
Belt?
Jeez.
Bring that baby over here. Do you want to put it on me?
Man,
you can.
Go
ahead. Go ahead. Dean, will you spin the wheel for me, please?
Oh, here we go. The wheel of misfortune. Social media takeover again for Dean Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
All right, we've done that one.
All right, good.
You put a little more juice on it this time.
It's a little big. It's going to come right off.
Touch the door.
The door.
What is that? Is that like a sprint?
The door.
It's very, very simple. All you have to do is touch the door, but it's that door at the other end of the convention center. You got to run down there and touch it and come back.
Right now?
Right now.
As fast as he can?
Rules are rules.
Wait, who am I picking? I get to pick.
Oh.
I get to pick.
I thought when he spins it, he
No, he
looks
was
so
just
ready.
close to the wheel. He would.
Just go, Dean. Go.
There you go.
That's my boy. My boy look like Usain Bolt.
Look at that stride.
fast.
Look at that stride.
He athletic.
That is a good stride. You can tell. You can tell.
Did you see him catch that kick?
He's an athlete. We should leave when he gets back, and he just comes back to an empty set. Look at him.
You got
He's gonna
it.
be so tired
You got it.
Place is gonna be filled up, but it's not filled up yet.
Dean, dig
Somebody
in.
kill
Sprint.
Dean's
Hey,
mic.
Dean.
You want to hear the heavy
Six,
breathing?
Dean, you got
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I don't know if that counts.
Look at that, man. That was not a jog. It was balls of the feet the whole way.
It's exhausting,
Woo.
dude.
Good job. Good job. Don't sweat. Don't sweat.
Dean
You're gonna have some time to relax,
Hey,
catch your breath.
When you dress like this, man, he don't sweat.
Nah, I gotta stay cool,
when
you know.
You dress so when you that cool. It don't matter what you do, you don't sweat.
You look that young.
You look that
all
good.
The time.
Yeah.
The handsome Dean Thomas.
If only we could all age like Dean Thomas. Let's take another look at the main event, the reason we're all here tomorrow.
Francis Ngannou versus Ciryl Gane is one of the most exciting heavyweight matchups in the history of the UFC. In Francis Ngannou, you have a destroyer.
Oh! Ngannou closes the show!
A terrifying, intimidating champion. A dominator. A man who has the most ferocious power that I've ever witnessed in the history of the heavyweight division.
Oh,
that's it. It's over.
Rosenstrike is out!
Since day one, the goal was to become world champion. I'm proud about myself because I always keep going and never quit, never give up.
Oh!
Stung him. Stipe's in big trouble.
Stipe back to his feet, eats another uppercut. Knocked down for Ngannou.
Oh! Out cold.
Oh my gosh! Francis Ngannou finally breaks through and becomes the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion.
But then Ciryl Gane came upon the scene, and we saw striking and movement, the likes of which we had never seen before.
Oh! Huge shots from Gane!
I mean, that was so fast. He's light on his feet. He moves like a welterweight. He is the most technically adept heavyweight striker the sport has ever seen.
This man is a quick learner, and he has become one of the best heavyweights in MMA.
This is a new style. I got the best foot forward. I can finish the fight on my feet and in the ground game too. Everything is possible with me.
When you saw the way he moved against Derek Lewis, you had to think, who could stop this guy? Who could stop that movement?
Lewis covers up, and that is it! The interim UFC heavyweight champion, Ciryl Gane!
Ciryl moves like nobody else, but there's only one thing who can happen. If I connect him, I'm gonna knock him out.
Oh! Ngannou, too much.
You have his strength, but I have mine. I have more skills than him, and we're gonna win this fight.
Oh, and he gets the tap! Wow!
What we have here is an amazing matchup for the biggest prize in all of combat sports, because make no mistake about it, the heavyweight champion of the UFC is the greatest combat sports athlete alive. And right now, it's Francis Ngannou. And the biggest threat we have ever seen to his dominance in this sport is Ciryl Gane.
We are back with RJ. That means it's contest time. He is sitting in front of the Wheel of Misfortune, which somebody will be spinning at the end of this game.
Wait, could this be for the belt?
Yeah, this is for the belt.
Okay, this is for the belt.
Already?
Yeah.
Does this? Well, we award the belt to the winner of each game, and
This
then the
is
winner
the
of the last game gets the belt for the show.
Okay.
Right? Okay. So, and if you do win this, you do get to pick the teams for the last game. Okay. Does that excite you guys?
High stakes.
Exciting.
All right. Let's talk best knockout artists, the best power punchers of all time, and we're going to start with you, Miss Senko.
Okay, so this was defined to me as the scariest knockout artist in UFC history, which I think that word scary is very important. So I'm going to go number one, obviously Francis Ngannou. I think he's going to be on everybody's list. And if he's not, you should just walk out the door right now. Derek Lewis, he holds the record for the number of knockouts. You got to give that guy his credit. Dan Henderson, I'm going to put Dan Henderson on there. That H-bomb, I mean, back in the day, I love Michael, but it's really hard for me not to envision the way he knocked out Michael Bisping. Anthony Johnson, Rumble Johnson, I mean, the hands, what he did in multiple weight classes as well outside of the UFC. So definitely going Rumble Johnson. And then lastly, Mark Hunt. I mean, the walk-off knockouts that Mark Hunt accumulated in the UFC, but not just that, in other organizations. I mean, the guy was scary. He was the one-punch knockout king, walking off.
Indeed. Dean, you're next in line, my friend.
So I got Anthony Johnson. She said it. Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis. Now this, like she said, this was scariest of all time. So I'm putting this back to, so we got to think of the time period. Chuck Liddell. When Chuck was knocking people out, I mean, he was hurting people. And then I can't be in Orange County and not mention Tank Abbott. Tank Abbott was doing his thing before anybody else, so I gotta put him in there.
All right, so I'm gonna go with Anthony Johnson. We'll have a lot of the same guys on these lists. Yeah. What he did to Glover Teixeira, 15 seconds, like, come on. And what he did to Alexander Gustafsson. Francis Ngannou, Derek Lewis, most knockouts in heavyweight history. Chuck Liddell, because Chuck Liddell was not only a massive puncher, but he was an absolute star. And then Anderson Silva, because Anderson Silva was knocking people out with his hands and his feet and doing it at a level that people just didn't understand. So it was timing, precision, it's not just knock him out. It's set him up to knock him out, and Anderson did it as good as anybody else. He's doing it in boxing now.
I was told two different things. It was first, scariest knockout artist, and then greatest knockout artist. Those are two different things.
Those are two very different
but so I just kind of merged them together. So Vitor Belfort, he knocked out that one year we knocked out Luke Rockhold, Michael Bisping, and Dan Henderson. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Dan Henderson never been knocked out at that point. Dan Henderson had fought Shogun Fedor, Anderson, Vanderlei twice in Rampage, never been knocked out. Vitor did it. He was amazing up until 2015, and then stopped being. Mark Hunt, the master of the walk-off knockout. Yeah. Right? Just when you connect and you know they're done, like that's some guy that's
just
knocked out a
saunters
lot.
off.
Dan Henderson, scary, 3 different weight classes. He's knocked out like top 5 guys in 3 different weight classes. Big game hunter. Anthony Rumble Johnson. That head kick, that switch head kick, how fast it is. I mean, that's like the 3rd scariest part of his game. And it's one of the greatest knockout, best weapons ever. And then Francis Ngannou, just pure horsepower.
But how do you not have Derek Lewis?
Did you not have the same list except for Derek Lewis?
No Derek Lewis. See, Derek's like a thudding guy.
I think that really does kind of knock you out of winning this one.
Yeah. He has the most knockouts in UFC history.
Is he a KO artist?
Helly, I'm
is
not
there
trying,
an art
Helly, I'm
to
not
it?
trying to,
Is he painting with a paintbrush?
Helly, I'm not trying to state my case or anything, but to not have the guy that has more knockouts, I mean.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. RJ, enjoy your last victory because there's going to be no victory here. DC,
yeah,
I like your list.
Come on.
I don't love your list.
Why?
Laura, you essentially, I feel like, took Mark Hunt in lieu of Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Right?
What? No, it's not.
Which is crazy.
No, it is not.
And Dean, you respected the region. You added Tank Abbott to the list when we're in Anaheim. So Dean
lives here.
Dean is the big winner. I think that's wise. I think that's wise.
Get your belt,
You have to cater to the fan base here in Southern California. Where's the belt? Dean Thomas, you got the belt, bro.
Laura, let's see how you spin the belt. Yeah, let me go ahead and hold on to this.
Dan, that is the lamest, most homely.
No, I think it's great.
Californian-loving other California.
That is kind of a weak spin.
that was
you
a
didn't
weak
go all the
spin.
way around. Like, you should have to spin it again.
I'm trying not to stand right in front of you. Dan,
Talking
just
like
spin
a
it for
surfer.
me.
Talk like a surfer.
Spin it for me. What?
You want to spin it?
Talk like a surfer?
I like that one.
Bro.
You like that one? For 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
5 minutes of that.
I was riding the
wave, bro.
riding the wave, bro. It was like on me, bro.
Shredded, bro.
Can you give me your analysis on Francis Ngannou, bro?
Francis Ngannou, oh my gosh, bro. He's like so powerful. He's just like, and boom. And then like guys are trying to be all like, whoa, no. And he's all like, yeah, bro. And then, he's just like, oh, I'm big. And, the guy, bro, did you see that fight?
Crazy.
Bro,
gnarly.
Right? It was so gnarly.
But what about Brandon Moreno? Like, break down the champ, the flyweight champ.
Yo, Brandon Moreno is sick, man. He is sick. He is so sweet, man. The way he represents for Mexico and like that heart that he has. I just got a weird accent there for a second. Brandon Moreno, man, he just like
mind blowing.
And he's just like, and he sees things, and it's beautiful, man. It just like speaks to my soul.
But what about Michel Pereira? He got some dance moves. Can you do them?
How long is this? 5 minutes, Michelle. I don't have to dance.
Hey, by the way, we're 90 seconds in.
Oh, okay.
But, all right, at least talk to us about it.
Michel Pereira, I mean.
But like, it's like he's like cool and he can dance. Like you guys.
He's like up here and he's all like, ka-choo, and they spins around. Is all like, and I was in it, and like if I was in a fight with him, I would just be like, whoa, man, not here, man. That's too much, man. You need to chill out and just like, whoa, bro, chill. But he has chilled, and that's what's scary, bro, is he is chilled, and he's no longer all like, oh, he's like, whoa.
You know who else is chill?
Who?
Sean O'Malley. Like, you guys, you're maybe a little light. He has a California cool side to him.
Sean O'Malley is like, whoa. He's so, and yet at the same time, he's also like, wow.
All right, you have 3 minutes left, but we'll give you a break. That was pretty good. That was pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Do you guys see these awesome new shoes on the table?
Combat Rock.
They're from Dwayne The Rock Johnson. He announced on his Instagram page a short time ago that this is the new official footwear for all UFC athletes and their teams.
Did he wear these?
Project Rock footwear is going to be in every single UFC fight kit.
I gotta be honest, they're comfortable.
Oh, you put yours on already?
I put mine on already.
So
look good with my outfit,
we were gifted with shoes from The Rock, which we're going to use for our final contest.
Oh, so we put them on?
That is set to come up. Okay. Hey, so because you won the last contest, you get to pick the teams. It's just 2 teams of 2 for this last event.
I'm going with you.
Oh, you're going to go with me?
Yeah, I'm going with you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so
because they've been getting along so well throughout the show.
I totally agree.
I feel like they should be your teammates. Yeah.
I totally agree.
We got this.
So while we get ready and put our shoes on, we're going to take a longer look, a deeper look at the co-main event.
Proudly repping Tijuana, Mexico. Here is the #1 ranked flyweight contender, Brandon Moreno.
The first fight was a draw. He believes he can win tonight. Well, what Figueiredo has is that one-shot power. Really feels like he has something to prove after that first fight. Oh, look at this.
Takedown.
Brandon Moreno gets him down.
A little
He
high.
gets the back. He's got the hooks. Look at this. He's under the chin. He's under the chin.
Looks like a tap. Brandon Moreno has done it.
Brandon Moreno.
Tijuana, you have a champion. UFC flyweight champion. He did it.
He did it. You are the first ever from Mexico UFC champion.
Para toda mi gente mexicana que de México, de Estados Unidos, acuérdense que nosotros nacemos donde chingados queremos. Se pueden lograr los pinches sueños, cabrones. Se pueden lograr, aquí estoy.
Eu tive muitas conquistas.
Figueiredo smells blood once again. He's out. He's out. Davison Figueiredo, he's the new champion.
E ao perder o cinturão, essas conquistas meio que começaram a apagar.
Figueiredo represents this total new level in the flyweight division because he's a destroyer.
Always looking for the finish, and he's just got a killer instinct.
E elas não vão apagar. Eu tô aqui para reconquistá-las novamente.
In the first fight, we saw the aggressive and crazy Figueiredo, right? In the second fight, we saw the kind of smart Figueiredo running around the octagon. But right now, I'm on fire. And I don't know what Figueiredo doing right now, but I don't care, man. I'll be prepared for him.
Eu encontrei uma família que tem me abraçado. Eu vou fazer esse camp todo aqui. O Breno Moreno já morou aqui, já treinou aqui. Bom, ele treinou com o Cejudo, ele traiu o Cejudo. E é em cima disso que eu falei com o Cejudo. Eu vou trazer a cabeça dele. E vamos matar esse traíra.
Davison gets it done in the first round.
I'm waiting for a better Figueiredo than the first and second fight. He was all this aura of he's invincible, but he's not invincible. Definitely no, and I show that to the world. And if I need to kill this guy again, I will.
All right, so when we talked about doing this contest, because I live in California, Dean Thomas automatically thought that I knew how to skateboard. Well, the reality is, not from California, don't really know how to skateboard. So Dean Thomas may have picked the wrong guy in this contest. Let me show you what we're gonna have to do. We have a couple of skateboards here, and the reason we're doing this is because we're in Southern California, right? We're just down the road from Huntington Beach, Surf City, USA, skateboarding, the birthplace of skateboarding at famous Venice Beach. You're gonna have to hop on this skateboard. We're gonna have to come down here, go around the cone while on the skateboard, okay? You can't carry the skateboard. The wheels need to be moving and they need to be on the ground. How you choose to do that is up to you, Daniel Cormier and Laura Sanko and Dean Thomas.
We got this.
All right?
Okay.
So here's the reality of the situation. Laura Sanko is a fighter. I don't know that like the hand-eye coordination when it comes to other things is going to be as high level as high level as it might be. Daniel Cormier is a fighter, and I've seen him play golf. Okay, think shorter Charles Barkley, not great. So I don't know in terms of the overall athletic ability and the hockey. Dean Thomas, I think Dean's just an athlete. I think Dean's probably skateboarded before.
I've never skateboarded.
So, Dean, how do you want to pair this up in terms of who starts? I think you should start since you're our team captain.
Okay.
Who do you want to go against, though?
It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Dean.
I'll let them pick.
Okay, you let them pick.
What do you think? What do you
Which
think?
one you want? You tell me. It doesn't matter. We got him.
I feel like Dan Hellie just really kind of threw me under the bus, so I would like to go against him.
Take Dan Hellie.
Oh, all right. Okay, so here's the deal, guys.
Fit my head. It doesn't fit my head.
There's a big. Whoa, and a fat head.
I don't need it.
Here, I got two. Here.
I don't need it.
Here.
Oh, you need it. You need it.
Oh, here we
better?
go.
Okay.
Yep. Let's do
All right.
this.
Yeah.
All right, we can loosen them up.
Do this.
All right, so it's Dean and DC, right? Going first. DC, you gotta strap up the helmets, man. There you go. Be a good example.
This is a relay, so.
Yeah, so it's a relay. So you have to touch the hands when you get back.
You have to touch hands.
It's a little tight. I'll give you the starting
You got this. You got this. You got this. Have you done this before?
No.
RJ, I might need help loosening my helmet up.
I can't figure out how to do
Okay, you
that.
tell me when you guys are ready. I'll give you the on the marks, get set, go. And you're wearing the Project Rock shoes from Under Armour. How sweet is that?
Yeah, man, I feel like I can do this with these shoes on.
Okay, are you guys ready?
Hold on, wait. Yeah.
What? You're gonna go that foot forward? Okay.
Yeah.
That's natural.
DC behind the line. DC behind the line,
going
please.
goofy.
Are we
Yeah, behind the line.
You're an athlete. You're a champion.
Oh no, now you switch. You're not goofy foot anymore. Okay. RJ's gonna start.
And 3, 2, 1, go!
Careful! Okay. Okay.
Make the turn, Dean. Make the turn, Dean.
You cheated. Gotta go around the cone, Dean.
DC! You got it. You got it. You got it. Screw this wrist pad.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! No! Oh my God!
Come on!
Dean!
Come on!
Dean!
Bring it to me. Oh my God, this is terrifying.
All right, switch.
Bring it to me.
Gotta get behind the line.
Oh my God.
That's a penalty.
Go Seiko, go Seiko.
The grace of these two compared to you two.
Go Seiko, go. Go long.
Oh, you can touch it with your hand.
To the wire.
Go!
Oh, we got a winner.
Yeah! 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 Yes! And just as I suspected,
You picked it up.
the girl from Kansas City
picked it
can't skate.
up.
What do you mean?
Champ.
Oh, that was good. That was really good. I love when Senko gets pissed
I
off.
got a little arrogant. I got a little.
That was a real fall, dude.
Okay.
I'm fine. I gotta be arrogant.
What a graceful tuck and roll.
I did
That was
tuck and roll.
grace. Yeah.
I tucked
Oh my gosh.
He's such a good athlete. We didn't even hear it, though. We didn't hear anything. That was really good.
And I hit the
barely
ground.
That was great. That was good. Whoever, we have great producers who think up
do.
all these
Yeah, I'm
events.
done with all this stuff.
I could not have envisioned this to go any better with
Yeah.
DC taking a tumble like that. The ceremonial weigh-in is coming up at 4 p.m. for Laura Senko, Daniel Cormier, Dean Thomas. I'm out of breath. It's hard winning all. Where's my belt?
Pick it up.
Give me the belt.
The belt is the belt.
UFC 270 in Anaheim. The champion, Dean Thomas. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll leave you with some sights and sounds. Take it a tumble.